Hotep, Hotep, Hotep. This is your brother, Ujal Menib Iri Ma'at. The Iri Ma'at is silent. Hotep, Hotep, Hotep. And I hear this playing back for me. All right. Hotep, peace to everyone. I have 3,000 people already tuned in watching. Excellent. Really appreciate that. No, I really appreciate it. But peace. And, hope everyone is having a good evening. It's Tuesday, June 15th. We're already in the middle of June. Boy, this year is going by fast. 2020 was a doozy of a year, None of us really were prepared for a pandemic. And none of us really lived through a pandemic. And so, this is an experience of a lifetime, really. And we're still experiencing it. So I hope everyone is being safe. I hope everyone is making informed decisions, when it comes to protecting yourself from the virus, and informed decisions on whether or not you are getting vaccinated. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I say to that. Just make sure you're making very informed decisions, one way or the other. If you're against vaccinations, or you yourself not being vaccinated, make sure you're doing that based on being informed. And if you choose to get vaccinated, make sure you're doing that based on being informed. So either way you go, just be informed. So anyway, again, Itim Hotep, I'm just kind of talking a bit here to see if people will tune in. I go live on these open discussions. I'll pull them out the clear blue sky. I'll just whip up a live session on everybody. So I'm gonna post a link though, because open discussion. I need some people to participate. I'm not gonna sit here and talk to myself. So let me get the link very quick. Try to be quick about this. I'm gonna post the link into the chat, and I guess it would help if I'm back on YouTube. All right, so here's the link. And don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's a safe zone. I don't even have to tell people how to behave. The expectation here. I try to pride myself on building good character, always improving. We're not perfect. That's another thing, but I'm gonna talk about it in a second. Let me just pin this link here. That saying, nobody's perfect. Where'd that come from? Matter of fact, I'm going to bring that topic to the table. So the name of this video is Open Discussion, BYOT. Bring your own topic. You know how to say BYOB when you go to a picnic, bring your own bag. Well, you about to hang out and bring your own topic. So the link is in the chat. So join the Zoom so we can have a discussion and bring your topic. And I say that, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and talk about cupcakes and Twinkies or any old topic. So, try to anchor it into the things that that I deal with, or touch on a bit here and there over the 10 some odd years I've been on social media. All right. Now our channel here is Seshu Mani Medew Netcher, and obviously we focus on the language as a gateway to learn about the culture and the people of ancient Egypt, that we know as Kemet. So what we advocate is that you can only know the ancient Egyptian culture by way of its language, and that's true for all cultures. Now, without doing so, you'll be handicapped. And so we are handicapped in some situations where archaeologists, for example, they will study the material culture of a people, of a past population of people. And that's all they can do is study the material culture. And you can walk away with certain information, certain conclusions, but you're handicapped. It's the language that actually records the psychology of the people. And so, in order to know the culture in a very intimate way, you have to study the language. This is just across the board. All right. It doesn't matter who you are or who the culture is that you're examining. Anyway, but share this video if you think anybody who may be interested in chiming in, because we've done a couple of these open discussions, and I've gotten good feedback. People enjoy the open discussion. They enjoy the safe zone. They could learn, they could share. We don't advocate anything pseudo, anything, or that mentality of just saying anything and chit chat. I mean, we could do that, but that's not here. All right. I mean, I'm not going to knock anybody for wanting to believe whatever they want to believe without demonstrating any support. I mean, that's fine. Just not here. So if you make a claim, you want to share something, just be prepared for some questions. That's it. All right. When we have these open discussions. But all right, I see the brother Donnie chimed in. You got any topics you want to bring up? Anything you want to open up with?
Yes, sir. I like to say that just being here and listening and being up under your knowledge, it's propelled me to hold my own in other fields. It's not other fields, but in other areas where the sesh is being talked about or debated or whatever. And I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be here.
All right. Well, hey, man, listen, you're more than welcome. And I appreciate you being here, because otherwise, I'll be talking to myself, not only tonight, but I mean, anytime you come through, because the whole thing is that we're all on a journey, from the cradle to the grave. We're always learning. And that's the topic that I want to kick off, right? Which is this saying of nobody's perfect. And so what does that mean? Like, that is actually a true statement, but why is it true and what does it mean? And the answer is simple. It kind of evade us because it's so simple. And the key to the answer is in the actual meaning of the word perfect. Perfect is a word that means complete. And think about it. No living human being is complete until you die. So the only perfect humans are dead ones, because now you're complete. You have completed your life. And so only then do you stop learning, because obviously you have passed away. So from the cradle to the grave, you're in a constant state of pursuing perfection. There is no such thing as being perfect until you're dead. And so that's a true statement. There is no one living who is perfect. And so we're all prone to making a mistake. We're all prone to learning something new. We're all prone to being corrected as long as we're still alive. As long as we're breathing, we're not perfect. And that's where the saying, has its truth and reality with. And that's just it. And so I say that to say, with what you were just saying, that we're all on a journey. And if we start looking at it that way, then we can all kind of just lock arms with people who are on the same journey. Everybody's not on the same journey in the same way. So we're all learning, and we just got to get with like-minded people, lock arms, and just travel together. And that's what it is. It's about traveling that journey of that river of knowledge. And that's it. That's it. We don't have to one up each other. We don't have to combat and all this and that. It's not about competition like that. It's just about competing. Really, the competition is ignorance versus knowledge, not person versus person. Knowledge competes with ignorance and vice versa. And that's it. That's the whole thing. And if we keep it that simple, we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to, get all bogged down in all the noise and everything like that. We just get together, share stuff, and we learn these methods on how to actually know when we know something. And that's it. Maybe that's another topic we could talk about. How
But
do you know when you know? You know?
would y'all, could I give a quick example?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I rock with y'all and stuff like that, but there's another Egyptologist that does like a one a day, and like she had a hiatus, but she came through today with her show, and it was like Nasut, and so she showed the Sue plant, the Sesh plant,
Uh,
and it was like I was just ready, I was in there, like, you know what I'm saying, because I got the book and all that stuff like that, the beginner's book, you know, and all like that, and so I was just ready to go, and then like when she took it further, like into uh honorific transposition, you know what I'm saying, from the stuff we've been kicking, I was just I was in the game. So that's where I want to like slow it down and just say, you know, once again, just thank you, man, because you put me in position to hold my own. You know what I mean? So, and that's important to me, and to me, that's what it's all about. So once again, uh, just do up.
yeah. Okay. Well, man, listen, I appreciate it, and I'm thankful that you're in a position, because that's what it's about for me. Is is just that. And Seshu, Mani, Medew, Netcher in name, I want to raise an army of scribes, but the way I see it is, just raising an army of competent people in this information. That's it. Because the more people that gain competency or proficiency in the Sesh, in the Sesh, Medew, Netcher, and Rodney Kemet, the language and stuff, then the better that we will be in discussing Egypt. Because a lot of misinformation, a lot of fluff, a lot of pseudo romanticized, commercialized stuff is out there about Egypt, and it's
But
crazy.
but not so I can never cut you off. But I just want to say it lined up with what you were saying. So it was just like, I like to see that. Like it's like when you put, when your information lines up, it just feels good because it feels like, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Does
Well,
that
that's
make
that's
sense?
that's um that's a form of cooperation. Like when things are corroborated by independent, they call it independent cooperation. That helps along to know when you know something, when things can be demonstrated and corroborated, um with it, where it's independent, no, where there's no influence or bias and things like that, you know what I mean? So that's and so that's, so more of that is necessary. Yep.
Just once again, thank you guys.
So now, yeah, but I thank you though. I mean, like I said, that's what it's about for me. So, we just doing our thing, and that's it. So, but I want to build on this though. See, this is just the beginning, and this is why I don't get caught up in the noise. Um, you don't see me. I don't get caught up in the noise that other people may be attracted to, because I know from experience there's so much more to discuss about ancient Egypt than what we see people argue about. Like whether Egypt had slavery, whether Egypt is gay, whether Egypt is a civilization of black people and all this and that. That's cool, but once you run through those things, then what? And so
Yeah.
you have a long history, decades after decades of Egyptology, which is the study of Egypt, done by, start off with, French, actually basically from the decipherment of Champollion forward.
Would you? I need to speak. Can I speak?
Yeah. Yep.
Before we go too far, um, I don't want to get it twisted, like, because sometimes, like, the Egyptologists are not going to speak. They're not going to say. They're not going to say Sesh. They're not going to say Ronnie Kemet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I learned from you. I once I learn those, I just get the message, and I'm not, quote unquote, not tripping off. You know what I'm saying, the small stuff. I could get the message. You know how they say, eat the meat and spit out the bones and things of that nature. But uh, you just help me with that too, because it's, oh, you're not saying the name right, and I know what you're saying, and that's just the way they say it because that's how they say it.
Yeah.
But I could get the message, So it's a clarity thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And so, but there's a lot more, because stage one is obviously the interest in ancient Egypt. Stage two will be, well, how do you become familiar with it, and then there's a realization like, okay, I have to learn this language, and that's just to get to the surface of things. That's just to be very comfortable on the surface. And so
Mhm.
think about that. Not that many people are going out of their way to learn the language, which at the end of the day, for that, will only allow them to be at the surface. That's where it really begins. Once you learn the language, then the journey really begins, because that's when you have to painstakingly get to the reality behind the way in which the culture documented its psychology, its lifestyle, because they wrote in a very figurative way.
Yeah.
And with anything written figuratively, if you're not a member of that culture, you have to figure that stuff out. Because like right now, in the United States, as us living here, we have a lot of figurative expressions that we understand like the back of our hand, that we think nothing of. Like, oh man, that's hot. Where you get that from? Like, we know what we mean by something being hot. Like, we don't mean temperature and stuff. But to a foreigner who learns the English language per se, they still have to figure out, well, what do we mean by those shoes are hot? Because in their mind, they're gonna learn hot is a temperature, and blah blah blah. It could burn you, but yeah, we're calling shoes hot. They're like, wait a minute, are they wearing shoes that could burn them? You know, that's how a foreigner would kind of have to look at it and wonder, and that's how people from the surface of Egypt, ancient Egypt, they're trying to figure that out. But you have to start with the learning language, and a lot of people not even doing that. So just imagine how far removed people are, and yet they get on these platforms arguing about stuff. And so that's what we want to change. We want to change, because that's why I said we got to build on this, because there are things that we have to, so much more. This is just the opening. This is so much more. That's why I go over very few things. I don't do too much publicly, but I go over a few things just to show, that's just to demonstrate that it exists. So I go over the judgment scene quite a few times before, showing people that it's not what you think. That's not nobody's heart being weighed for real, or any of that stuff. So I go over stuff like that just to let people know that any time we could change gears. We could change gears about the king's role, the deities, why they are worshipped, what is worship, why are there processions for them, and things like that. The calendar system, when these processions happen, why, the different gnomes, the locations, all of that good stuff. So, at any moment we could shift gears and talk about that. But if I talk about certain things right now, it's like talking to a person who didn't learn addition and subtraction, but you want to talk about calculus.
Why don't you do that sometimes? Because like I was saying, like last week or whatever, like sometimes like you got to slow down and speed up, and it's like I already know where you're going. So give us something different sometimes, if you could, because you do have an audience that's above, um, the um, uh, the comprehension level that you think that everybody else is at.
Well, we do. I mean, the longer, like in our archives, you'll see it. Like I won't make an official.
I know that, but it's just a challenge. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm saying no. I agree with you, but I'm saying I well me, I fit it in. I try to fit in on every time I go live. Even if it's a little bit. I just don't make an official topic, so like a solo topic about stuff like that. But I will fit it in. Like I'll because I purposely put little nuggets into some of these lives to kind of make people think. I purposely do that. So I try to do that all the time. Just like for I mean, I can go down the list of different things I'll throw out there. Um, that's helpful. Is beyond the surface stuff. Just like, for example, just the orientation in the minds of Egyptians alone, the orientation, their physical orientation of how they saw the world, physically, visibly, how people know, like people say up south, right? Up south, and that doesn't make sense up south, um, unless you understand that the up part of it of south is terrain level, altitude, and that's it. But people say it as if it's something deep, like it's the maps are reversed. No, the maps are not reversed. But I'm saying I will say that, and then I will interject and go a little further and say, well, their orientation reflects in the entire culture where the sun rises on their left side, which will be east to them. So the left side of their body is where the sun rises. But for us today, our orientation, the sun rises on our right because the east is on our right hand side. So it's
That would be a teaching tool.
right, right.
And
I've done a whole show about that, but I'm saying I will go further because it also will let people understand that things begin on the left and they end on the right. And so in a lot of initiatory systems, you may see things start off on the left. So anybody who's a traveling man, Freemason, will understand that you step off on your left foot first, and then you end with your right coming together with your left. And so these are little nuggets of little things that will be remnant of some of these different practices or how the symbolisms get traced and passed on down or used. And so I will throw things out there like that, so people can identify with like, oh, wait a minute. Is that why the statues have their left foot forward on some of them and right foot forward another one, and they have a staff in the left hand sometimes, staff in the right hand and stuff? Like, okay, well, we're on to something, you know. Um, but they all have meaning and practical reasons for stuff like that, where your life starts on your left and it ends on your right, um, which is the pattern of the sun, how the sun travels, and then how people is hoped to have life eternally and forever, like Ra, which would be the sun, you know. But that is not talking about your life because the sun rises back up the next day. And when you die, you're not going to rise back up. You're not going to walk up out of that grave. So it's pointing to something else, So, we get into stuff like that. So, but yeah, anyway, so let me just remind everybody in the chat. So anybody who's watching this video, first of all, do I appreciate anyone who's tuned in. The link to come on the panel is in the chat. It's pinned to the top. and you can click it, get on in here. Um, Now I call it BYOT because we all know, when you go to a cookout, people say, come to the party, come to the cookout, bring your own bag, BYOB. But I'm saying BYOT, bring your own topic. All right. So come on, bring your topic and share. And if you share, if you get it, if it sounds crazy, I'm just gonna warn you right now. We're not for crazy. We're not for pseudo. And not to say everybody's pseudo or anything, but things have to make sense. you know, but nobody's gonna come here and tell, oh man, listen, I saw a picture of a brother with a meditation hat on. It was called a meditation hat, and it was made of metal, copper, I think. You know how people make copper rings and copper bracelets and stuff? Well, this person was wearing a metal netted meditation hat. And man, I was like, wow, with crystals in it and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, like that's like really that's what we're doing, you know? And so yeah, man, it's crazy. So I'm just saying that like, we, you know, anybody sharing some stuff like that, boy, be prepared to get drilled. Cause I'm not having, that stuff like, man, crystals. Crystals, they have its properties and stuff and its value and its use. But wow, we take things to the next level. We take things to the next level. And matter of fact, if I could find a picture, I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna show it to you because y'all don't think I'm crazy. I'm gonna try to find it. But yeah, so I don't know if anybody has a oh Emicat. I don't know if Emicat, you got a topic or you wanna raise something we could talk about. Or Donnie, I don't want to skip you. So if you had something specifically you want to kind of bring up, I know you talked about honorific transposition, how you understood that and in the game with that. That's good. Yep, that's really good. So okay, well let me ask you this. So honorific transposition, can you in a in a I guess summary or nutshell, can you explain what that is? Like, can you give us the gist of what you understand honorific transposition to be? That was for you, Donnie.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna try to answer that. For example, like if you look at the what's it called? The sesh where you the hotep dina sut. And if you're trying to read the glyphs, like it's kind of backwards. Like and then like if you think you have it down, then you probably do, but you have to change it due to honorific transposition. So you have to like put certain things first. And that's just my slow analogy of it. I'm slow, so you know what I'm saying, but that's the best I could give to it. You
All right.
know?
Nah. You're right. Um, it could be a little more specific, but yeah, no, you're not wrong on that. So okay, well let's make it clear. Let's make it real clear since that was brought up. And I was sitting here, I'm trying to find that picture. If I find it, I'm gonna definitely share it of this meditation hat. Um, okay, so so honorific transposition. So just remember this: two things. The the word for king, the word for deity, and the deities themselves. So I said three things. So it's the word for king, the word for deity or God, as people translate Netcher, and then the Netcheru themselves. So the word for king is Nisut, the word for deity or whatever is Netcher, and then the Netcheru themselves. So, whether it's Ptah, Amen, and so on and so forth. So those three things, when they're written in a genitive construction, they are written first, even though grammatically they will come second or last or whatever the case is. And so they're moved to the front visually, not in spoken language, but only in the writing. They're moved to the front out of honor. So that's why they call it honorific transposition, because trans means to move. So transposition, so that its position is moved to the front
Mm.
out of honor. So that's how you think of it. Trans, to move its position, transposition, and then out of honor. So honorific transposition. Now, another technical term for this, that process, and you'll find it in older scholarship, is called metathesis. Metathesis. So, and that's the swapping of characters. Okay, so metathesis, that you may read about it like that, and that's it. So, as an example, the very word that everybody uses, and it's funny, it's crazy. There are people who don't accept honorific transposition as existing. They think that's a made up. Egyptologists made that up, but yet they will say things like Medew Netcher. Like the people who don't believe in honorific transposition, they'll say Medew Netcher when they read this. Like the picture I have on my screen right now. Okay, if you look at this picture, you see the ibis bird in the middle. That's Jehudi, right? In his crown of the full moon, you see the phrase Medew Netcher. Those are the two glyphs for the phrase Medew Netcher. And so you got people who don't believe in honorific transposition. They will see those two glyphs and they will say Medew Netcher. And what's funny, what's crazy, is that's honorific transposition. It's actually Netcher Medew. When you look at it, it's Netcher Medew, but they say out their mouth Medew Netcher. So they don't even realize that they're actually accepting honorific transposition while rejecting it. And that's the craziest thing to me. I see people do stuff like that all the time. And it's just out of them not knowing. But anyway, that's a good example. Medew Netcher is honorific transposition. The word for temple, Hut Netcher, is another example of honorific transposition. Sesh Nesut, which is royal scribe. If you saw it in writing, I don't have it on screen, but if you saw that in writing, that would be honorific transposition. The name, the popular king's name that everybody knows, King Tut, his name is in honorific transposition, Tutankh Amen. That's how we know him, Tutankh Amen. But when you look at it written, Amen is first. His name written is Amun Tutankh. But nobody says Amun Tutankh. You see, nobody says that. Amun Tutankh, Amun Tutankh. No, nobody says that. So those are just some examples. Tutankh Amen. We could think of some more. What's another one that's popular?
Well, you already went over it, but
Which one?
it started with the Sioux, the sedge plant,
Yeah.
and then it went into that the bread loaf, and then the water ripple, the end, and then like it was totally. And at first, I ain't gonna lie, it threw me off. But then when I started applying, you know what I'm saying, what I got from you, and then it just like it flowed. So, and I was like, yeah, that's that honorific uh transposition. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nisut. Nisut. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a little extra on that. The word for king is Nisut, right? But there are people who don't accept honorific transposition that will pronounce it as Sutin. And there's a person that's very popular who uses it that way, and that's Sarah Sutin Seti. Sarah Sutin Seti. The word Sutin is his way of trying to say Nisut, which is king. So he's using the old understanding of it being Sutin, but it's actually Nisut. It's two words really that got fossilized as one word. It was two words, a phrase, genitive phrase, ni and sut. Ni is a prepositional nisbi meaning belonging to, and then sut being the sedge. So it means the belonging one of the sedge, but we translate it as king. So it means he who belongs to the sedge, and then BT, he who is of the bee. So the sedge and the bee, the dual king.
So is he wrong or right?
Seti? No, it's not Sutin. It's Nisut. So
Okay.
He's wrong. It's not Sutin.
Why did you even bring that up?
Huh?
Why would you even bring that up?
Why would I bring that up?
Yeah.
No, because there are people out there that will hold on to that belief that it's Sutin. You may see people spell it Sutin, Suten, Sutin, but it's Nisut. And that's where, you could kind of tell where people are coming from when they do things like that.
Oh, okay.
Sarah is the son of Ra, and then the king Seti. Sarah Sun Seti. That's what that word would mean. Yeah. So you have those, I'm just saying those are things, little things that if people were on the path towards perfection, like I said at the beginning, then they would correct themselves. If I had a name and I later found out that I did my name incorrectly, I'm going to correct it. Just that simple. You know what I'm saying? That's just the bottom line. I mean, I wouldn't be out there, messing up things like that. And
Yeah, I just didn't want to go left. I didn't want to go left field with it, spending time on people who don't deserve to have no time spent on them,
No, but it's not just that. It's a few people that do that. It's that used to be the old thinking. You can find that in Budge's book. Actually, if you look in Budge's dictionary, you'll find it both ways. You'll find Nisut and you'll find Sutin. And the feminine form, Sutinet. And so you may see some sisters out there calling themselves Sutinet to mean queen, but it's actually not queen. That's another thing. That's not the word queen anyway. Queen is Hemet Nasut. Hemet Nasut.
Right. Indeed.
Right. So wait a minute. Desharab says that's incorrect. Egyptologists say the sedge actually has nothing to do with it. See, let me just say something. This is where, wait.
Just had to do it.
No. Let me. But I have to say this just to help everybody out that may be watching. When we make general statements, it should be the norm and the understanding that when we're talking like that, we're not saying every single Egyptologist will say this, or every single mechanic will say that, or every single doctor will say this. When we say doctors in general, it's the preponderance. And so, because here's the thing, I can show right now Egyptologists with an S plural that say that Nisut deals with the sedge. And so the brother in the chat just said Egyptologists, he said that's incorrect. Egyptologists say the sedge actually has nothing to do with it. Now I could find an Egyptologist that actually says that says it has nothing to do with it, but I could find Egyptologists that will say it does. So we have to be clear on that. And that's what people got to understand. If you don't know this stuff and you have expert A and expert B to rely on, you have to defer to. And if expert A doesn't agree with expert B, now you're back at square one because you don't know which one to accept. Is expert A right or expert B?
Well,
Right.
Joe, let me uh in all my slowness. But look, to the people who are speaking in the chat, when I deal with the real Egyptologist, and if you want a name, I'll give a name, but I'm not gonna do that. But when it lines up with what Wuja says, or not just Wuja himself, but the sesh that he teaches, and it's on one accord, come on. What are y'all arguing? You know, you're gonna look like something else at the end of the day, and that ain't cool. So I just wanted to say that all my stuff, every everything you guys do lines up. So you know, I don't know what these guys are on.
I mean, but okay, but see that. So this is what I guess this is what I'm saying is that because the brother came back and said he'll be quiet. You know, it's not to be. It's not. I didn't say what I said for to make people be quiet. I'm saying what I'm saying, that we have to be transparent. Like we can't say things like, hey, yo, you're wrong, because Egyptologists say that, when somebody could find Egyptologists that don't say that. You see what I'm saying? You can't speak matter of factly if your matter of fact is not a matter of fact. And so what I'm going to do real quick though, I'm going to show an Egyptologist that says what I just said, because demonstration beats conversation.
Indeed,
That's a motto around here. A lot of people, anybody
indeed,
can say anything they want to say, but can you demonstrate that? And
indeed.
so I'm going to show a prominent Egyptologist, um, a prominent Egyptologist that people rely on, and I'm going to show what I just said. So let me show this for the purpose of teaching moment. Give me 1 second here, and we're going to do that. And like I said, the link is always there. The link is there. So if anybody wants to, further discuss it, hey, I'm game. All right. So look on my screen right here. Let me make sure I pin this so everybody can see this. It'll lock it on my screen. Let me do that. And spotlight for everyone. Okay. So I have here on my screen, this is a prominent Egyptologist that a lot of people rely on, James P. Allen. He's one of the prominent Egyptologists, and also a person who deals with the language, the grammar, the phonology, and everything. He's done a lot of work on that. All right. So this is his grammar book. Okay. So this is page 44. And this is in the discussion of honorific transposition. Okay. That you all can see on the screen. And so you're going to see he talks about the word Netcher and the word Nesut. And then further down here, I'm going to put this at the top of the screen so everybody can see it. He says the noun Nesut king itself may involve honorific transposition. This word is actually an archaic noun phrase consisting of the word ni, which means of, and the word sut, sedge, the emblematic plant of Upper Egypt. The exact sense of the phrase of the sedge is uncertain, but it probably means he to whom the sedge belongs. In which case, the unusual order of the honorific, the hieroglyphs just reflects the desire to make it a compact group instead of, spelled out this way. All right. So there's a scholar that said it probably means he to whom the sedge belongs. And so you see the brother in the chat said Egyptologists say it has nothing to do with the sedge. But here's an Egyptologist who is also a professor at Brown's University, who's been teaching the language and courses of the language and written numerous papers and books and things like that in Egyptology, the field of Egyptology, who says otherwise. All right. So we got to just be mindful of what we say. So I'm not saying that to tell anybody to be quiet or be silent or not say anything. It's just that you got to add on and say what you mean. All right.
Indeed.
So that was for you. So that's pick up. You see this highlighted on the screen. That's for you. All right. So there you are.
They ain't gonna be able to get around that, but you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
So that's for him. Um, and I'm saying, when stuff like that happens, I can just do that all day. But I don't know why it's blurry on my screen. Hopefully everybody saw it clear because it was blurry on my screen for a second. But okay, um so I am King Sosa. I didn't forget. Hold on, let me scroll up. He was talking about Akhenaten. Yeah, I am King Sosa. Wait a minute. He switched. I am King Sosa. All right, look like he switched icons. He had like a star. I don't know if uh that's the same. I don't know if you've been impersonated or what, but yeah, I haven't forgotten about you on Akhenaten or Aken I'm in Hotep the Fourth. I haven't forgot about you on that. But that's a discussion. That's a specific discussion right there. Because we got to get into the layers. We got to get into the politics, the the time, what was going on in that time frame, the priesthoods and the politics. Man, we got to get into a lot of things. All right. So pull out your notes though. Read up on it. We're gonna visit that topic. We're gonna visit that topic. All right. So do that. All right. All right. So again, last thing, again, Desharab, I'm familiar with scholars that say that the sedge plant itself literally is not to be taken literally in the phrase nisut. I'm very much aware of that. But to say that Egyptologists say that, when I could find Egyptologists that say the opposite, that's we gotta make sure we're careful by saying that. So I'm familiar with the Egyptologists that say, it's all about the sedge and the bee. Then I'm familiar with the sedge and the bee having a different meaning. It's not literal with the plant. It has to do with other things and why it's a dual king. Why is both? Why is this Nisut and BT together? All right. So that's all I was saying. Yes, yes. Um,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Well, this is small stuff.
He said a poem about iron lungs. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know, and Desiree, you would just have to talk is cheap. You'd have to. I seem contrary to what you're saying. It's like I don't need to come down to even address that. So you keep telling me what you haven't read or what you don't know. You know.
Yeah, as John Henry, Dr. John
You
Henry
know.
Clark would say.
Yeah, in his spirit.
Exactly. You're telling me what you haven't read. Yeah, exactly.
You know.
I just want to address a question. Majay asks, he said, well, Jao, what's the number one on top of the Ibis for? So I don't know if you're really asking me that, but in case you are, that's not the number one. But you may be, I don't know if you're joking, but that's not the number one. That's the actual Netcher glyph for the word Netcher, and then Medew. So that's actually Medew Netcher in the crown of Jehudi. That's Jehudi. The Ibis bird is representative of Jehudi. And Jehudi is the patron of scribes, in case anyone did not know that. Jehudi is the patron deity of all scribes, along with Sashat, the patroness deity of all scribes, the documentation, the scribal profession. And so the scribal institution, as this emblem is showing, is, has Jehudi involved and is the the deity over it. And if you look at the glyphs inside, I know it's probably small, but it's talking about the scribal school, the school of scribes. So Emiket, if you could do the honors and read those glyphs right above the sesh that's sitting on the horizon.
Peace
Oh,
in
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, hotel. Yeah, actually, I jumped on when I was it was listening to Sendani, talk about how he was, learning and getting to know honorific transposition. That was very impressive, by the way. But yeah, so let me just go ahead and read that. It says,
Wow.
yeah, good. It says, at Sabah net Seshu.
All right, there you have it.
So it'll be
Fine, that's it.
place. Yeah, at Sabah will be a place of instruction or house of instruction, and then net Seshu, that will be of the scribes. So it'll be school of the scribe or scribal institution.
And we have it. All right. So, yeah. But all right, so listen, tonight is BYOT, bring your own topic. So, I'm trying to follow the chat. Maybe I missed
Yeah,
something. Anybody?
I'm bringing my own topic. This irks me because we can't grow because we always have to deal with old stuff
Mm,
instead of letting you build. Like I try to always question you, and it's a challenge to you, but it's not. It's like a challenge to everybody. It's like we keep bringing the old stuff, you know.
mm, mm,
It's like we can't grow. And I know probably it's only so far you could go because whatever your status is, or because you're teaching a class and things of that nature, you could only give so much away, and I get that, but I kind of feel like simple terms is deadheading.
mm.
It's deadheading.
Well, let me just say that, okay, because well, it's definitely not because like what I teach in the class and stuff. It's basically not to it's really where the phrase comes from, not casting pearls to swine. And that's like a harsh way of saying it, but what it is saying that you can't bring up, like, the goal is not to confuse, not to be confusing. The goal is to be crystal clear and to make progress in knowledge, like progress knowledge forward for any person, people or persons, right? So if I discuss something that involves prerequisites that you have to know certain things prior to, then me discussing it to sound heavy, it does no good. All I'm going to end up doing is sounding heavy, beating, inflating my own ego, but yet I'm talking over everybody, and then people are not going to know one way or the other. They're going to be, oh man, that's deep and whatever, and then that's it. That's
Okay.
unproductive. That's not productive or anything like that. And so I just try to be mindful of stuff like that. But I edge it on. See, I'm always pushing. I'm always encouraging, pushing, pushing, pushing. So I'll get behind somebody and push them forward. Push, push, push. So I'll throw things out there um all the time. I throw things out there all the time. But to have a full-on conversation, like for example, I can have a full-on conversation right now about the verbal system of Ronnie Kimmett. And I know for a fact that most people who watch the channel, they would be lost.
Right.
But so I don't do that, not because I do it, I'm preserving it for class, so to speak. But there's an order of
You,
operation.
you, yeah, you know who your demographic is, and I'm starting to see that too. But what I'm saying, I'm trying to get past that, and I want to grow. So
Yeah.
you
All
know,
right. So now this Rebs is just trolling. I'm a chill. You're not supposed to know anyway. Okay, buddy. I'm not
you
supposed
know.
to. Yeah, just like somebody told me that about aliens building the pyramids. Oh, you don't believe it? Oh, that maybe it's not for you.
But what I'm saying, we already beat him up, so it's like
Right.
everybody beat him up. So it's not even he's not even relevant. Like if we're supposed to teach, let's teach.
So
Later from him.
Desiree, this. I mean, you come on and you're welcome in the chat. So you're welcome. But this, you've been on here enough times. I've put the link in the chat, brother. Hit the link. Share some wisdom. Share some wisdom. Tell us what you want us to know. That's it. That's all you got to do. Tell us what you want to know. Tell us what you want us to know. All right. That's real simple. Tell us what you want us to know. Deshreb, I got a question for you, Deshreb. Just pulling this out the clear blue sky.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Don't come down. Don't come down to the level, man.
No, this is a teaching moment. This is a teaching moment. Listen, there's chess being played. Let me just put it that way. So this is a teaching moment. This is a question for Desharab. I want Desharab to explain the difference in the two major calendar systems used by the ancient Egyptians, why they existed, and what their function is. Okay, so you can come on here, click the link, and share that with us. I would greatly appreciate that. All right, so I want to leave that question out there for Desharab. And until he comes on and does that, we can keep on talking. So you say you wanted to bring up something? You were bringing up something? Got Monica in the house. Nawessa Ra. Asari Motep. We got Asari Motep is in the house. Booksy is in the house. Any Heret Kalfani. Sean is in the house. I know Sean is teasing about MC Iron Lung or about Iron Lungs. They made a glyph after me. The glyph with the two lungs. That's my glyph.
True.
Sean don't know it, but the ancient Egyptians prophesied that one like me would come.
You being pseudo right now.
In the 2000s, only one every 25,000 years would come, and he would bear the symbol of the two lungs, not literally, but figuratively. Iron lungs, MC Iron Lungs, the Netcher of the two iron lungs.
See, and then your bro, he ain't gonna answer. So it's impossible to push the conversation forward.
Yeah, but that's why that's what I mean. Teaching moment. So, it's just real simple. Like it's not complicated. Like this is not an adversarial. See, adversary doesn't work. Opposition doesn't work around here. Like people will say things to put forth an adversarial position, and that's how some people have to learn. They have to actually fight you to learn, and that is the worst way to learn. But it happens. There are people out here that's like that. People in school. People have to learn through fighting, and that's a result of character issues with ego.
Yeah, but that hinders the rest of us from learning, though. That's my issue.
Yeah,
that is my issue. So, like, I could go back to the chat and argue with this clown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For what?
Some people sometimes just have to even sometimes people have to disagree if they're trying to disagree just to agree, because sometimes some people even agree, but they don't know that they agree, but they put this disagreement stance, and that's just crazy.
Okay, does the pose? Mika says, I asked a question in the back. Does the pose with the hand on the chest mean something? You had to show. So did you show a picture? Then that's Tamika. Did you show a picture with your question? And I don't even see the question. Let me actually open that up. Because I definitely didn't. Oh, you said Pete, hand over their chest. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, Mika. Well, what they're doing is the ancient Egyptians, they are remember, they were experts at viewing through the crystal ball, and they could prophesy the United States and how we would honor the flag and do Pledge of Allegiance. So they put their arm over their heart, and to mimic the future people in the United States of giving the now let me stop. Let me stop before, before somebody takes me serious. Let me stop before somebody take me serious. But Mika, so no, because I know Mika's gonna be like, what? No. So first, you have to understand that when you see figurines in the two-dimensional flat surface, whether it's carved incisely or raised, you got raised carvings and incise, where it's dug into the stone or wood. That artwork is done by a style called aspective. So the positions and the angles that you see those figures in, they're not literally what you would see. Okay. And so you have to understand that what you're looking at are a result of aspective art, not perspective artwork, where an artist is drawing from their point of view, their perspective. That's why we call it perspective versus aspective. Okay. So I did a whole show on that in relation to the comedic yoga poses, how those postures and poses are not literal. Nobody contorted their body like how you see it in the, you can't do it. Like, for example, you cannot show your chest and your back at the same time in a picture. You're not going to be in profile view and see your entire eyeball, your entire eye. Those are just impossibilities, which should be big clues on the fact that that's not perspective art. That's aspective. So I say that to say that we have to be mindful when we're looking at the artwork and saying things like, the hand is in this position, the hand is in that position. Okay. If you want to look at literal positions, look at the statuary. So look at statues for that. Okay. And and I did a comparison when I spoke on the comedic yoga positions. I showed real postures versus aspective art representations. Yeah, I showed that. All right. So, you got to keep that in mind. All right. So yeah, just remember that. You gotta remember that. All right. Like, I'll give you a quick example. Today you'll see comedic practitioners, when they greet each other, they will say dua, but they'll hold their hands up with one hand extended way out and the other hand drawn in towards their chest. And they do that because in aspective representative representations in the artwork, that's how it looks. But that's not what the ancient Egyptians really did. They raised both hands equal distance from their body, not one stretched out and the other one pulled in. That wasn't the case. And you can see the statues where they did that. All right. So maybe I could show some on the screen to show a comparison. And I'll dig it up while we're talking. So I don't even know who all is in here. Let me see if anybody's coming. Wow, it's just us three. So listen, if you all are listening, I still have it locked on my screen too. Let me take that off. So if you're tuned in, join the panel. All right. We've got a couple of people watching. Listen, I put the link in the chat. And I'm trying to inspire people to participate in these conversations. Now we could read through the chat all night, but click the link. Click the link. On everybody else's channel, everybody wants the link. Where the link? Send me the link. Send me the link. Send me the link. Get a link. See, I think people want the link to argue. And because we don't argue or fuss and fight over here, it's like, nah, I don't even want the link. I don't want the link. I'm just gonna talk in the chat. I'm just gonna do the chat thing. I feel like typing. I need to get my typing practice on my typing skill. I need to type 60 words a minute because I'm about to apply for this job. 80 words a minute. I'm gonna get this data entry job. Yes, indeed. Got to qualify. Okay, so Desharab did come back and say the lunar for farming, and then there's a civil calendar. There was a civil calendar. But I'd expecting a little more than that. And I'd ask you that question. This is to Desharab. I was asking that question in hopes that you would come on here and elaborate. Because just to say lunar and civil, I mean, you know, that's like very, very basic. You can kind of type in a Google search and type Egyptian calendars and get that. All right, you got the but they actually call it the religious calendar and the civil calendar. Really, the religious one is patterned after the natural seasons, and the civil one, to the Latin folks, it was called Vagus Annus or whatever, the one that travels, because the civil calendar traveled backwards one day every 4 years. And even in the Gregorian calendar that we use today, it would do that if we didn't have a makeup for it called a leap year. Every 4 years, we have a leap year where we add one day to the calendar. And the month we do it in happens to be February, where we add a one day to the month of February, and it becomes February 29th every 4 years. And to this day, I have never met somebody who was born on February 29th. I am looking for somebody. If you all know somebody that was born on February 29th, introduce me. Because I have yet to meet somebody in my entire life of a person who was born on February 29th during a leap year, you know, on February 29th. Because I want to know, how do they celebrate their birthday on the other 3 years when there is no February 29th? You know, obviously they do something. I wonder what was the explanation that the parents gave them, you know? But that's just interesting to me. So anyway, yeah, our calendar would actually travel backwards against, you know, in a counterclockwise position. It would go back one day every 4 years, and it would take, I believe the number, I'm just doing the number on top of my head, I think 1,400 and something odd years for it to cycle all the way back around. And that's what the administrative calendar, civil calendar did in ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. It traveled backwards. And so they had to keep track of all of that good stuff. All right. So, but it's interesting because what it does, though, what's interesting even beyond that, and, you know, like there is, you know, it's a whole conversation we can have about it, but it creates a wheel within a wheel. So it's almost like gears in a machine where one calendar outpaces the other one, and the one goes backwards one click, which is one day every 4 years. One day, then another 4 years pass, another day. And so by time any one point gets back to its original position, that's a great year, or the year of Ra, the great year. And they calculate those great years as well. So they have great years, and then they have those smaller years. And so that creates some synchronicity between the natural seasons and then the civil events, administrative events. But go ahead.
So, being that you grew up in DC, right?
Right.
So, some people argue or present that, you know, it's kind of their foundation is built on a Kemet type of structure. Do you see that? Is that true?
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but that's mainly because of the Washington Monument itself. It's an obvious mimic of the Tekken or obelisk. And so that's where people get that idea from, like just outright, because the big old Washington Monument is right there in the Washington Mall right there downtown, and it's huge. I've been up in there one time. I got in the elevator and went up to the top one time a long time
Mm-hmm.
ago, and I don't do it again because I don't. That's just too long. I'm not gonna get in the elevator and get up in there and do that. That was like when you're little and you don't care about anything. So, and I don't even know if they still did it later on. That's how, but no, it's because of the Washington Monument for obvious reasons. But the city's patterns of the streets and things is more connected to uh Freemasonry.
Mm-hmm.
So indirectly, symbolisms in Kemet and stuff like that, but more directly with Freemasonry and those designs like that. But the Washington Monument itself is like an obvious Egyptian symbol. So that's that. So I understand why people would say that, but I mean, outside of that, what are you gonna go? Not the buildings are not made with sepket or pylons and the way that the temples were built and stuff like that. That's not how the buildings are. The
But
Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial, the White House with the pillars and stuff. There's a bit of architecture remnant of Egypt, but that's even in Greek, like Greek architecture and Roman things with these pillars and stuff. But there's like a double, triple borrowing
mm-hmm.
where it's indirect, not like it's not direct.
But there is an actual Tekenu over there.
Where yeah. In New York, they have the Cleopatra's Needle. And I'm not sure. I don't think it's the only one, but yeah, they have actual ones that they took from Egypt and brought over here. Yeah, but the Washington Monument is not one of them. Yeah, so no, I know in New York they have. I think Central Park. I'm not from New York, so it's like can correct me. But Cleopatra's Needle is there. There's one in France. There's a few of them around the world. I know there's one in France,
Yeah, France,
New
indeed. Yeah.
York, and I believe there's one in Britain or UK. Um, yeah. So, but yeah. So again, the Washington Monument is definitely not one of them. That was built. That was built. And like I said, I've been being from DC. Downtown DC. When you live somewhere, you don't see it like how visitors see it.
Right.
So like
Like people see Vegas.
yeah, people who live in Vegas, they don't see it like visitors to Vegas. And I definitely understand it because growing up in DC, you have tourists will come downtown and go to the Smithsonian and go to just to walk on along the mall, visit the Jefferson Memorial, just to go up steps and stare at the statue. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? I didn't see the big deal. I'm like, what? Why are you looking at that? You know, if it was up to me, I'd ride a skateboard up and down the thing or something. But I get it. I get that. But even the Washington Monument, it's nice. It's nice. The Capitol, the Capitol was nothing. The Capitol was nothing. The White House. Now the White House is a lot different because when I was living there, the White House, not the White House itself, but the 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 property around the White House was different when I was there because they had it blocked off, but it was really close to the White House. Now they have a larger perimeter around all of that. Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's what I'm trying to ask you. I'm really trying to, like, is it built on some Kemet? Was it heavily, besides the Tekenu being there, was it, you know what I mean? Is it like how they say they're heavily influenced by Kemet?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, not. It's more so heavily influenced by Freemasonry, and those ideals which are indirectly contains some elements, from ancient Egypt and things. But the structure, the layout and stuff like that, no. And DC itself, it's very well laid out though. DC, you cannot get lost in DC because the streets are in numerical order, as far as the numbers, and then the names are in alphabetical order. And everything comes from the capital. Like everything spirals out from the capital. So you have North Capitol Street, South Capitol, East Capitol Street. And once you leave the capital, you know that if you go on First Street, Second Street, Third Street, you're traveling on a named street, crisscrossing the numbers. And then if you travel on a number street, you're crisscrossing letters or streets with names. And so it's easy. So you can't get lost, like wherever you are. And then it's four quarters. So it's northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So that's it. I mean, boy, you can't get lost in DC. Once you know where you're at, all you do is look up at the street sign and you know where to go. That's it. But the overhead shot, if you look at the overhead shot, it's patterned out really, really nicely, really well. Outside of those potholes and stuff downtown in those streets, boy. If you drive down there, I'm not a fan of the city. But anyway, so but let's see. So hold up. I'm trying to see if anybody had a question in the chat because nobody's joining the panel. And usually people here will join the panel. I see Fitz. Let's see. Any questions? Is Wajal sharing something? I can't see. No. I'm not sharing anything.
I want to give a shout out to Emmy Cat real quick though. Indeed.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I see Sutek is in the building. Sutek came in with some questions last time. Some good questions. But yeah, so okay, so what
really good questions, yeah.
Yeah. So what's been the chit chatter going on? What's been the hot topic? Not chit chatter, but what's the hot topic going on?
Trying to go to the next level.
I think it's a lot of pseudo stuff those people are afraid to bring up because it's just way too pseudo.
It's way too pseudo. Yeah. Well, hey man. So I don't know. Cause I
know it's a lot. It's still a lot. I've heard a lot to do with the afterlife. Some people still don't get it, afterlife.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Field of reeds and all that stuff, and it's just crazy stuff.
Okay, so let's answer that real quick. That's a very quick thing. And I really don't know how anybody in the world could have a debate about this. So I saw a post. I saw a post where there was supposed to be a debate, and there was a debate on whether or not the BYOT and the field of reeds are the same. and I'm like, when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, is that a debate? I had to actually look again. I said, a debate or just a a question asked or something, because that's like real quick. That's like in and out. The answer is no. The BYOT is not the field of reeds. They're not the same. So that's it. It's done. It's nothing to debate. It's done. I mean, it's really done. Like, it's so done that you can right now, you can Google the field of reeds. What they call is the Yaru, or people pronounce it Aru Saket, which is the field, and Aru or Yaru is the reeds. So the field of reeds, and then you have the BYOT. And they're two different things, two different concepts, two different, whatever. And it even describes the field of reeds is in the eastern. It's in the Iabit, whereas the BYOT is the underworld, a place where all these different things happen, the 12 gates, the 12 caverns, where Usir and Ra meet up and get energized and this and that. Got to go through the gates, say a password, let you through. But the field of reeds is where people do work.
That's where the magic happens.
Yeah, people are working in those fields. That's
You
what
know?
the Shabti are for. The Shabti, the little dolls that you see in the coffins in the tombs with people. Those are the people who replace you to do work, so you can chill.
Oh man.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
don't know. I think because people saw like did their listenership, and they might have seen a picture of something they think this is the word, and then they saw some in between that they saw the field of reed, so it's the same place. Just putting out pictures together.
I
Analyzing
got
pictures or producing from the pic. I don't know, because I don't know who would actually you know
I got
take that
something.
and even debate that.
I got something. And it might be a little bit of pseudo, but I'm just gonna have a little fun with it. Emmy Cat, Wujawu, I want y'all to be with me on this one. So this is a question for both of y'all. If you ever seen I think it was I'm just having fun. Um the movie The Mummy, when the lady was she was so-called speaking to Sesh. If you guys saw it, what did you think?
Oh man, that's so long ago. I don't even remember. I mean, I remember what you're talking about, but I don't remember what. Like, I have to go back and hear it
Okay.
and
I'll,
see.
I'll just go
Yeah.
down on with the
Which
question.
mummy? The one with Tom Cruise, or you mean the older one?
Uh,
The one with
to me, there was only one. So no, the one without Tom Cruise. Good brother.
okay, yeah, because the one with Tom Cruise, she was speaking Lady Egyptian.
Okay. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in that movie, the couple lines you did say, yeah, that was on point. Yeah, that was Lady Egyptian.
Was it the one with the word satep? Oh, am I
Yes, Tep
mixing
Tep
that?
Pai.
Okay, yeah.
Yep,
I guess
Tep
yeah.
Pai.
That seemed accurate. Kind of. They probably had a good team, behind
Mm-hmm.
to fact check everything before they do that, and that's what people should do at the end of the day, anyway.
So I mean, okay, so you're standing on it. So why are you standing on it? What? How do you back it up? With
But
all
it's
due respect.
actual.
Oh, you mean
But
like
it's actual
that
word.
voice?
No, I'm asking the brother that made the claim, that answered it. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the grammar of the phrase that she used, I mean, Tep Pai. That's a classic Lady Egyptian construction.
so you
Chosen
remember? Do
Pai.
you remember it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, Setep, chosen. When she was holding his face, and she said, "Setep Pai, my chosen," because he didn't resurrect her, but he was in part responsible for her resurrecting.
But as
But then,
far as a grammar point, you're saying it was on point.
yes, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good enough, actually.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
pretty
Like you
tough,
said,
traumatic.
chosen. When she was holding his face,
Oh, we got somebody
she said,
got a.
"Setep Pai, my chosen," because he
All right, I had to mute. I think that's Ray. Yeah, you came in. You had to mute if you when you come. Oh, that's another thing. When you come in here, you have to mute whatever the YouTube side. You have to mute that. All right. So Ray, I muted you. So if you want to say something, you can mute yourself. But so yeah, let me just say, Satep. The word Satep means chosen, but that's the word that's also in Ramses' throne name. Waser Mad Ra Satepin Ra, or Satep Ra, the chosen of Ra. And so that's where you get this other use of it, Satep meaning chosen. So my chosen one, Pi, late Egyptian, they had a definite articles, where Middle Egyptian before they didn't have definite articles like that. They weren't represented um, as function words like that. Pa with pa and ta as representatives of masculine and feminine form of the word the. So yeah, we can analyze that and see that some research went into that so that they could speak it. And you know, that's something that we sleep on. I'm gonna tell you, these
Just for
movies,
fun.
yeah, but I'm saying we sleep on the in some movies where characters are speaking other languages, the amount of work that goes into that. Like, one, you have to get an actor or actress to memorize their lines, obviously. But when it comes to a foreign language, even if it's what's called a con language is short for constructed language. And a lot of movies, they hire experts to actually construct languages for a character that's gonna stay, you know, like Star Wars, for example, the whole Star Wars saga and Star Trek. The Klingon language is a perfect example. The Klingon language is a con language, but because Star Trek did so well and had so many what you call it, so many um what you call it, uh series and seasons and stuff, that the Klingon language actually stuck hell to where
Come on, Joe.
huh?
Come on, man.
No,
Klingon language.
no, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm
I'm
saying.
sorry. I'm sorry, good brother. I'm
Okay, no,
sorry.
listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Cleons exist.
Come on,
You
man.
know, no, but this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that there were people who created that language, or they constructed that language, and the show, the franchise did so well that the Cleon language was used and admired to where people started to learn it. And there are actual speech community. There are people who actually speak Cleon right now today. Hey, listen, look it up.
I'm sorry. I ain't doing it.
Yes, that's true.
I love you more than anybody on this planet. I ain't doing it, man.
No,
Come on,
look
man.
it up. Look
Doing
it
it,
up.
bro.
The Cleon language
I ain't doing it, man.
is the Cleon language is
Hell
a
no.
language that people speak today. Not a big population, but I'm saying there are people who speak Cleon.
Man, I ain't doing that shit.
I'm telling you the truth. Just look it up on your spare time. You'll see it. But my point though is that we sleep on the effort and things when they do this kind of stuff for any movie. For any movie, when they for example, how many of you all watched Game of Thrones? The series Game of Thrones.
I watched some of it.
Okay, there are a lot of con languages in that movie. You know, I mean, in that series, Dothraki and when they're speaking, but a lot of con languages are based on real natural languages though. Like they take a real natural language and just spin it up. You know, so a lot of people draw from Semitic languages, Arabic and things like that, because of the phonology of Arabic is harsh, you know, with the ayn and the kha, khalaka and all that. So you'll hear that.
The glottal stops.
Yeah, there you go. Pharyngeals, glottal stops, glottal plosives, and stuff like that we're not used to. So it sounds cool. But that's true though. I'm not telling you a story that there are people who speak Cleon. Yep. There are people who speak Cleon for real. Very well. Very well. Nah, listen. Go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and
Oh my gosh.
to hear people speak it.
Yeah, as long as everybody see the funny thing, it's not funny, but the beautiful thing about a language, it doesn't have you can have an artificial language, but once it does the job of communicating from one person to the other and have that, the communication actually be successful, it's a language, and it works. So you find even made up language, even as children make up languages, as long as they're able to understand what they're doing, secret languages, all that stuff. The whole point is just to make sure that whatever it is that you're saying and you're trying to transmit, that it is actually successfully transmitted to the next person. And once you have that, then you have a language.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
But I was talking about, like, I gave a reference and the brother chimed in, because we think we have it, but it's a different thing, and it's even pointed out in the book. We don't know how it sounds. Not
Yeah,
in
yeah.
those words, but that's a curiosity. I mean, you want to know because you just do. But so kind of wrestling with that, and then we get into some other. But when they did it in that movie, that's what I was trying to ask, like, because that's the only time it's been done. You know what I'm saying? So I was just, I don't know
Yeah,
how we
there's a
just
few
putting
yeah,
on stuff. You know.
there's a few that will try to pronounce it based on Egyptological pronunciations. We call it Egyptology speak, or classroom pronunciations. And so we understand today that ancient Egyptian language that we pronounce today is not historically accurate. It's ahistorical in terms of the way we're speaking it. But that's not to say anything about us understanding the meanings of the words.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody who studies this language, one of the first things you learn is that in order to discuss the language, you have to be able to pronounce certain words. And so what Egyptologists did early on, they agreed to stick a short E or schwa in between the consonants, because the glyphs themselves only represents the consonantal skeleton of the language. And so
Mm-hmm.
they agreed to put the E in between all the words. That's why we say a lot of things we say today, with the exception of maybe some popular words like hotep. We put an O, hotep, instead of hetep. But seneb, and so on, will pronounce the words with an E. And we understand, we have that understanding that that's not how. It's very unlikely that that's how it sounded in ancient times.
I get
But
that.
but it means, we understand what it means. So that's different. But that confuses some people too, because it's like, well, they confuse meaning for the semantics for phonology, and that's that's unfortunate. But some people confuse that. Let me just address this question. Desharab, my comment about Arabic being harsh or anything like that. What I meant by that, see, this is, and I don't mind addressing this because I want people to learn. Desharab's comment says those sounds aren't Arabic or harsh. You really are a white dude, Wujau. See, that's like a little kid saying that. So I'm convinced Desharab is probably a 11-year-old kid with a computer.
Wow.
But here's the thing. What I mean by harsh is, for English speakers, there are sounds in the Semitic phonology, especially Arabic, that are hard to articulate for English speakers, and particularly the glottal and pharyngeals, the plosives, those deep in the back throat sounds, such as the ain and the gha, the kha, the gha, and the ain. Those are not in the English phonology. English speakers do not grow up making those sounds. So our oral organs, the tongue, our mouth, and things like that, they're not practiced. We're not used to pronouncing those sounds. So when it comes to reading those words, a lot of English speakers do not pronounce those words correctly. So instead of saying a word, for example, the word khalaqa insana min alaq, in order to say that phrase, now the way I said it, khalaqa insana min alaq, a lot of English speakers will not say it. They'll say kalaka instead of khalaqa. Because nobody practices that. So that's what I mean by harsh. And it's described as harsh because you have to dig deep in your throat, like you're clearing your throat, like you're doing a hog spit, like like that. Ach, achani, achani, achani. Minalach. The Q, the ka, the cough, the cha, chala, ga, rain, all that stuff. So again, man, this is not listen, Desharab, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and you're not gonna be around too long. So I just want to give you that heads up.
See, for Dash is gonna make us start having quizzes before you enter the chat.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta really ask, like, like, what level are you on? Like, you know. Plus, I mean, you gotta. I mean, just as an advice, I mean, you gotta stop counteracting everything with euro this and euro that. Like, for us, that doesn't phase us over here because we are not like we are not trying to pick euro against African or whatever. We just go by the information. You should already know, since you stepped in over here. So if you want to explain something, just break it down. Don't try to come at us with trying to make us feel like we're going to feel away. Like if you mention the word euro, we don't care. We only care about information, whether it's from euro, whether it's from Mars, whether it's from whatever. We don't care. So cut that out.
And plus, it's very funny that we're on a Euro platform of Google and a branch of Google of YouTube and stuff like that. People will argue in the English language, but then dog the English language. They'll use European or Euro technology while arguing against Euro and this, that, and the third. They'll be on a cell phone. They'll be in stuff that is basically under the care and manufacturing of Euros, but yet arguing. And I find that just to be outright retarded and silly. It's just childish. And so,
No.
that's just where that is. But let me get back to like I said, I brought this up because I mentioned it earlier about these postures. And so this connects to Mika's question. And so I did a presentation a long while back. It's been probably 3 years now, 2018, on this.
Come on.
And this is what the presentation was called. I just want to lock it on the screen because I'm just going to share a couple of slides from it. So the title of it was Egyptian Hieroglyphs, Aspective versus Perspective and Comedic Yoga Postures. So I wanted to cover all the bases. So altogether, I had 60 slides. So I'm not going to do the presentation now, obviously, but I just want to share a couple of things. So here's one of the pictures to demonstrate right off the top about aspective artwork. Now, this is a two-dimensional surface, obviously, and this picture shows trees growing, going downward. The ones on top are growing upward. The ones on the right are growing towards the right. The ones on the left growing towards the left. We know trees don't do that. We see this building right here on the left-hand side. We know a building is not going to be built like that, where the doorway is completely 90 degrees sideways from us. And we know that people so in the middle, just to explain, in the middle, we have a pool of water with a boat. Now we know boats don't sit on water that way. If this was an overhead shot of a body of water, we would also see the top of the boat. We would see the overhead shot of the boat. But yet, look at the boat. The boat is in the straight on sideways view, while the water that is sitting on is in the top view. And so this is a classic example of aspective art where you have multiple angles based on what the artist wants you to focus on and what's important. And that's what aspective art in a nutshell is all about. So this is an actual artifact, and there's many. I just showed this. Here's another one. Now look at the fish. The fish are drawn in profile view, but the body of water is shown from top view. Now we know fish don't swim like that. All right. We know trees don't grow up like that, even the trees in this picture. So again, this is another example of aspective art. All right. Now, no fish will look at this drawing and try to emulate this drawing and claim that their ancestors did it. You know what I'm saying? So why do we do stuff like that? It's crazy. It's beyond me. But what I really wanted to get to is to show the difference in literal postures versus what is drawn on two-dimensional surfaces. So here is a perfect example. On the left, we have an example of aspective artwork. And on the right, we have perspective. Okay. So on the right-hand side, everything about this statue makes sense. It's a man in profile, like he's sideways profile. His nose is in profile. His head is in profile. You only see a portion of his eye, not the whole eye. You see his left arm holding a staff. His left foot is forward. His right arm is on the other side of his body. We can't see it, but we know he's holding a scepter, a Sekhem scepter in his right hand and a staff in his left. All right. That's very easy to understand. Now we go over here to the figure on the left. This is aspective artwork. But guess what? These two people are standing the exact same way. But notice that, matter of fact, let me go in close. So notice, and scoot this down. Notice that this person is in profile. His head is in profile, completely sideways, but yet we see his entire eye. Okay, that's one. Two, we're going to assume that we're looking at his chest because this is his collar, his necklace or collar. All right, we see one chest pectoral. All right. We see his belly button. But now here, check this out. So if this is his chest, think about this. If this is his chest, this should be his right arm, but it's on our left, but this is his right arm. If this is his chest. But guess what? This is his left arm. Okay, this is his left arm because we see his left arm holding the staff and we see his knuckles and everything wrapped around the staff. It's not his right arm. His thumb is on the other side of the staff. And his fist is grabbing and grasping this staff, which is his left hand. This is his left hand, his left arm, and left shoulder. But yet this is supposed to be his chest. So again, this is a demonstration. I don't even have to go any further. But if my intention was to prove that this artwork is not realistic, is not literal, I've accomplished that just by showing what I've shown so far. All right, and this is what I did. Now we look at his other arm. If this is his chest, this is supposed to be his left arm. And if this is his left arm, guess what? His thumb is on the wrong side. That's not his left arm. That's his right arm. So based on the arms, this is supposed to be his back. We're supposed to be looking at his back right here. Okay, that's the only way that makes sense. But it's not, because here's his torso, here's the apron in front, here's his knees, and so on. Okay, so I just want y'all to understand. So I'm just demonstrating what I said, because like I said, demonstration beats conversation each and every time. And I presented this. So going back to the statues again, this is why I said that if you want to look at actual positions, go to the statuary. Go to the statues, the various different statues. Don't look at the two-dimensional carvings if you want to get positions. Okay. So all those Kemetic yoga practitioners, now I'm not speaking about the practice and the benefits. I'm talking about the postures only. Those postures are ahistorical. Nobody in ancient Kemet did those poses, period. And can no one refute or get around that? They can get mad, but they can't get around that. And a lot of them don't get mad because they understand that I'm not speaking against the practice. I'm only talking about the postures, and they understand it. Because some people are like, well, our postures are inspired by the artwork, but it's not it. But you do have people out there that claim that that's what the ancient Egyptians did. There's some prominent leaders of the Kemetic yoga community. Yasir, Muada Ashby, Dr. Muada Ashby, the brother Yasir. They advocate for that stuff, and they're just 1000% wrong on that. I just can't say it any other way. So anyway, I just wanted to share that while I had it. Here's another picture of the eye. Look at that. This is a person in profile view, but yet you see the entire eyeball. That's not realistic. Here's the eyeball. Like, that's a realistic profile shot. But guess what? This is a statue. Statues are literal, realistic. The other artwork is not. So you all remember, can y'all still hear me? Because
Yes.
share my screen. Okay. You all remember when I said that today's comedic practitioners, when they greet one another, they extend one hand all the way out, one arm all the way out, and they draw one arm and hand towards their body. And they say, Dua Netcher, or they greet each other, Dua Netcher, or Inej Harek, or, Hotep, and all that, greeting each other. And so they're doing this pose here that you see on the left. This is aspective art. But that's not how the person is actually standing. This person on the left, if we were to look at the literal stance, it would be like this statue on the right. Both hands are equal distance from the body and put out the same way. That is the position that this person on the left is actually in. But in aspective art, the angles and things are done differently. The torso is in full front view. So to do that, they had to draw the arm as if it looks like it's pulled back, but it's actually not. Okay, so that's another example. All right, so, I went through a lot of these examples. So here's another one where we have the statue of Sekhmet. That's the statue. And we see the statue, like I said, they are literal representations. These are all perspective, obviously, because these are carved three-dimensional objects. But if you look at the two-dimensional carvings, they're not the same way. Like you see the full crown, but this crown was broken off, so you can't see that. What's another good one? All right, here's a famous one. Here's a famous one right here. Okay, so you see these three figures in this position. And Mika, I don't know if you're still there.
Yep, that's the pose.
Okay, so now we're going to get to your answer. I'm going to actually answer your question, though, but let me explain this first. So these three figures are in a pose on a two-dimensional surface. So we have the brother Yasir, this is the brother right here, Yasir. He's mimicking this position, believing that the Egyptians actually did that position. But that's aspective artwork again. They're actually not in this position at all. They have the right hand raised and the other hand over their chest, yes, but not twisted like that. See how his body twisted to mimic their thing? That's not how these figures are. So I'm going to show you how the figures actually are. This is an actual statue of the Enpu statue. And notice that one leg is up, kneeling down, one leg is up, one arm is here by the chest, the other arm is extended out to the right, up in the air, but no contortion of the torso or none of that. Because that's exactly how they were. So here it is again. Here's the king and how that would be. That's the person in the middle. And here's the falcon. Here's Heru, or Representative Falcon. That's actually how they were, not how you see it in two-dimensional artwork. This is aspective. This is perspective. It's just that simple. So now to answer your question, the hand over the chest or over the heart area is a sign of what they call jubilation. It's the Henu pose. It's the Henu position where they put their hand over the heart to represent jubilation, to be happy, to be jubilant. And it's a visual representation of awud ib. The phrase awud ib, the word awud means to stretch or long. And ib is the word for the mind. And so the stretching of the mind is how they describe happiness or to be jubilant, to jubilate, jubilation. Okay, so that's the answer to your question and all that good stuff. So hopefully that's satisfies that. So that's that. I don't want to dwell on it. Like I said, I'm not trying to do the whole presentation.
Yeah, but you know what? That kind of just reminded me of what Donnie was talking about before when he asked about the particular movie. and we're talking about how those people definitely did have a good research team on the language part behind them. In this kind of instances, most people don't. I mean, because with all these things, nobody expects everybody to be like learn the language just to do a particular thing. But it's always good to have access to and utilize people who are like are well educated in certain subjects to help you out in this kind of stuff, because like not the whole yoga part being effective on its own, but the marketing part of trying to tell people that this is what the Egyptian did. If the person had access to like or utilized people who are like research teams, such Netcher research teams or whatever it is, they would have avoided all that kind of stuff. So that kind of reminded me of that, because on one side you see how effective it is when people utilize good researchers on a subject, and then on the other hand you see what happens when people don't do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully that satisfies all of that, kind of covered. So Mika, hopefully that answer your question. Represent. So
Yeah,
Mika,
it
every time you get happy, just put your hand over your chest and
did.
hand over your chest. Happiness. Go
Do
ahead.
I in the chat? That's all I want to say. Do I?
Yeah. But yeah, just remember that hand over the chest. Another thing, happiness. Just like I said, Awud Ib is the phrase for happy. A lot of idioms in the language deal with the word ib, which is very, very interesting, which shows you this the focus on the mind that the people had, psychology. Awud Ib, min ib, what's another one? Man, there's so many. I don't know why I can't think of any right now. There's a lot of phrases that involve the word ib, which means the mind. People translate it as the heart, but it's actually the mind. And but a lot of idioms in terms of behavior and emotions type of things that we would classify as emotions would involve the word ib. Stubbornness, min ib, in a negative, but confidence in the positive. Min ib, the word min meaning stable, and ib is the mind. So to have a stable mind is on a good side to be confident, and on the negative side it would be to be arrogant. Your mind can't be moved. You're stubbornness. I would.
The guy with the cane, right? That you had up. He's wearing a headdress.
What you told me when I was doing the statue, showing the statue?
Yeah, the guy that holding the cane.
He had a headdress? No.
Yeah. Is that black a headdress?
No. Would you hold up and make sure I understand which one you were talking about. Hold up, this one right here. Let me get back. Show this again. You talking about this right here?
Nah, it's a one of like a statue of a dude holding a cane.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, was he said it? Oh, so what's your question again?
Is he wearing a headdress? Is that his hair?
Likely this was the hairstyle. So, there's people who still deal with this kind of hairstyle as well.
Yeah, I've seen it. I just want to make sure that wouldn't suit up. You know what I'm saying?
No. No. They, there's different hairstyles. The women would wear a lot of wigs and things. Wigs was definitely the in thing. Like we
lice, right? Her lice was right for lice.
Hey, yeah, for that too. But that was a way of dressing up. Like, today we do the same but different things. Like, people dress up and put on these accessories and stuff. So wigs was very popular. Like we think wigs are unpopular right now, but in Kemet, they were the in thing. They had different one. They had a tripartite tight wig that was made of 3 different parts and stuff. elaborate stuff. You can see it on the coffin. As a matter of fact, do I have one? I thought I have something to show quick, but you can see here's a hold up. No, I thought I had one that I could show quick, but oh, is this one? Okay, here's one with the wig. That's a wig. This coffin. But no, there's some that will really represent what I'm saying. I don't have them to show. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think they got one in the museum. I think I forgot how old it was, right? They have one in the museum, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you have women with short hair. Not the one on the left, the one on the right. You have this style here of the one kneeling at the ankles of this particular person. But yeah, I mean, these are coming from the yoga stuff. So I don't have that in here. Oh, here's no.
Yeah, that's what I make sure it wasn't suited. What about Queen Tide? That's I've heard some people. I remember before the thinking who said it was an afro. Then they're saying, is that a bust that she's wearing? There's a, you know what I'm saying? Is it a wig? You know, I think you know the picture I'm talking about. Queen T. Queen T.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Oh, okay. Is there a waiting list, or do I have to wait till he's done answering his question to ask a question, or how does this work?
I mean, it's just, just common courtesy. So once he finished, Mike is, we passing the mic around. So let me just address what he was saying, and then you could have the mic.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so are you asking Queen T or whatnot? Well, here's the thing. A lot of those are representative of wigs or some form of wigs, and they had different types of wigs. I don't have the names of all the types off the top of my head, but there were a lot of wigs representative of wigs, because you got to understand, in statuary, they represented, like today, what we call almost caricature artwork, which is done in a comical way today. For them, caricature artwork would not be for comedy purposes, but it would be for preserving a youthful, vigorous look of the person. And so a lot of statues, I mean, you're dealing with like statues of Ramses. If you look at the statues of Ramses, none of them look like he's old, like an old man. But yeah, Ramses lived to be around 87 years old. Ramses II. He lived to be about 87 years old. You will not find a statue or any representation of him being that old. Nowhere. It just doesn't exist. If we didn't have his body, his mummy, we would not even know that. Have no representation of him like that. So I say that to say that even the women, when they're represented in statues or even wood statuary and whatnot, you'll see them in their youthful appearance. Sometimes, they most likely they would have wigs on and stuff like that. That was part of, society, the standards of beauty and stuff like that. So yeah. So whether it was her natural hair, an afro and stuff like that, I don't think anybody can come to any definitive conclusion about that.
I can.
All right.
Speak on this shit.
Yeah, let's see those hair samples you got.
It hasn't changed,
Yeah, what how they rate hair based on numbers. They got 4, grade 4, 3.
I don't do. I'm not
Oh,
trying.
like 4C.
I don't do that, but I'm just saying. I'm saying it went down, but I'm saying. Hey,
look at Mika's. Mika, see, look, like
I ain't saying no name, no nothing. Hey.
No, I'm saying, look at Mika's image in here, her picture here. See, like 40 years from now, Mika could still use the same picture as a representation. That's basically how they did. They took like
they still got the on Facebook. They talking about they ain't never changed.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying? No, we need to appreciate and love, you know what I'm saying, what the Nasubiti gave to us. So you know what I'm saying? So it's just what it is.
So okay, Ahati Ma'at. Yeah, you got the floor.
Yeah, and tell me what your name means too, so we can.
Okay, brother. I just want to say peace to everybody. My name is Ahati Ma'at. I'm new here, and I like what I'm hearing. Sounds good. So my question is for the brother that's running this. I forgot your name, brother.
Ujao.
Jawa.
It's good to meet you. Glad you're here. You know, it's your first. You say you're new. We welcome everybody. So yep.
Yeah, welcome.
So I have a question about Ra, and I don't know how deep your knowledge is with the Book of the Dead, but I was reading plate 24, verse 14, and it speaks about Ra having ancestors of light. And I was always under the impression that Ra was one of the first gods to create the other gods and just create life. And here it's saying he has ancestors. So I'm wondering who Ra's ancestors are.
Okay, that's a good question. And you got really specific. You said the Book of the Dead, plate number 24, verse 8, line number 2, word number 3. Man,
It's verse 14.
All right, so hold up. Let's see if okay, well let me give a summary type of commentary about that.
Okay.
So Ra, based on your question, we have to understand that the pantheon of deities in Kemet, all of the different Netcheru, the deity that goes back the farthest in terms of chronology, if we were to put them in sequential order, based on age or one begetting another and so on and so forth, the ultimate one would be Nu or Nun. Every single deity, every single thing in existence comes out of Nu. So Nu is referred to as the father of the Netcheru in a lot of different texts. And you may hear other deities will be called the father of the Netcheru as well. But in that context, they'll be the progenitor of their grouping. And so the groups of different Netcheru were grouped together in what's called groups of 9 or Pasejet. And so the word Pasejet is the number 9, which represents the plural of plural. So these are different groups. And Ra headed one, but he was not the ultimate head. So I want to first start with that Ra is not the first god, so to speak, of Egypt. So as not to confuse or to think that Ra can't have any ancestors at all. So now to get into, you know, having ancestors of light or whatever, we would have to like read the part of the text that you're bringing up. So I don't know if you have it handy, if you could share.
I actually do. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, just say what plate was that again?
It's the Book of the Dead, plate 24, verse 14.
Okay.
I'm reading out of Budge's book.
Okay.
And it says, judges is he by the ancestors of Ra. Judged is he by the ancestors of light. Ku, surrounded by the heavens among the mighty ones. So it's saying ancestors of light.
All right. So are you familiar with the word that's used for light there?
Ku.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm trying to find my image of I have images of all the plates so that we can actually show the glyphs and everything on the screen. So give me a moment.
What's your name mean, family? Hati, what does that mean?
Oh man, that's a great question, brother. What's your name?
Sosa.
Sosa. Okay. Tony Montana's friend.
Yeah, probably enemy, but yeah.
Yeah, that's only partial my name. I actually have 5 names. So my full name is Ahati Mayat Thet Amin Amun, and it took me 2 years to get my name. 2 years of accountability and discipline. I basically had to change my whole person to prove that I was worthy of the name that I have now. So Ahati comes from Aha. Aha was the second son of Narmer. Aha means soldier. It means bull, strong bull. It means strength. So the warriors were Ahas. And that's the first part of my name is a warrior, because my mission is, or my henu is to go against the Tamahus, which are we call them Europeans and Caucasians today, to go against their mentality. And the last part is Ma'at. Of course, you should know Ma'at, who was the order, the law of Kemet, and she was also a ruling goddess that actually ruled for 700 years. So.
Indeed.
So as a phrase, what does it mean? Ahati.
No, that's part of my name. Oh, what does it mean together? It means, so my full name is Ahati Ma'at Thet Amin Amun. So it means I stand strong as a warrior for the law of Kemet, and I stand on the right side of Amun, or I stand as the scribe of Amun. Amun is actually my teacher, Amenhotep Ra, and he's been teaching for about 40 years. And so anyway, it took me 2 years to actually get my name. Like I couldn't just walk up. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Saw Netcher or these other YouTube Kemetic conscious community groups where people can just make up, something sounds cool. So like I know a brother, 1 week his name will be Adolfo Hotep. The next week his name will be Marin Ptah Adolfo. Like people just switch up their names, and they don't realize your name, your Ren was one of the most important elements to you going into the Tuat or the afterlife. So your Ren is very important. It's what you leave behind. So it has to define your character. So I can't call myself a Hati if I'm a coward. You know what I mean? It's the opposite. So like for instance, my teacher, one of his goddesses is called Seneti or Senet, which means sister. And because she wanted to be part of their group as a sister, as another sister within his family. And so he has to watch you and study you. So like the brother was saying earlier, which is great, he says that, what brought us Jubilee was our mind, of opening our minds and studying the language and the culture. And I love it because something about this brother here, your demeanor is a Kemetic demeanor. It's calm. And when I go to these other places like Saw Netcher and these other Kemetic people, they got this aggressive like street, I'm a Compton Crip type energy, and that's fine too. That's part of warrior status, but it's directed in a negative way. We shouldn't be directed towards each other. When we're conversing with each other, we should be speaking calm, enunciating our words. And if we don't understand something, just admit, I don't know, And so it took me 2 years to get my name. I've been studying with him for 7 years. And the funny part is I was the total opposite. 7 years ago, I was a warrior for Yahweh. It's normal.
Turn your back on Yahweh.
Yeah, that's normal because we all grew up under Christianity.
Yeah.
So when you're transitioning out of Christianity, you become a Jew or you become a Hebrew Israelite. So I became a Hebrew Israelite. And then you come out of there and then you meet a brother like this brother here, and he starts breaking down the verses in the Bible and how they stole most of the material out of the Bible from our mighty, great scribal ancestors like Kigigmi and Ptah Hotep. And then you start breaking out the spell. But Yeah, like I'm saying, to me, your Ren is everything.
It's gonna be good for sure.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, first of all, let me say, because I'm listening to, and I'm trying to find the plate that you mentioned and to share it, because around these parts we like to demonstrate. We like to use teaching moments. We want to make sure people walk away, have some takeaways when they walk away, to be able to further look into things or whatever. So, this is plate 24 that I'm sharing. But before I go into this, though, and listen to what you're saying. you know, and you say you're new, so you're gonna find out that a lot of what you just said, that's we advocate that all day, every day. We've been doing this for a long time. Me personally, I've been doing this for over 10 years, as far as teaching and stuff with the language. But as far as our channel, we have an archive of videos, and everything you said echoes the things that we champion behind, and things we understand. Like you brought up the Ren, and how the Ren really is a container for a person's identity, and it builds on their character, which is the word ked. And the person's character means a lot. It's their identity, even when they're gone. Like you said, just something you leave behind, and that is what is actually contained, or is the element that produces an afterlife. When people remember the deceased person in the minds of the living, that is actually, in a summary explanation, the afterlife. Person living on beyond death is in the minds of the living, but it's their Ren, or their identity, which is built on their character, whether it be good or bad or whatever the case is. And so, what you explain about your name is the same thing that with my name. My name is not some willy-nilly, I just picked a name out of a hat, because if you look around, nobody has my name. Even the first part, Wujao, just Wujao itself. And so my name is the same way. It's, I take names serious, just like how traditional, or in the cultures, really around the world, they take names seriously, because your name is your identity, which is supposed to be an outward expression of your existence. If you don't have a name, then you don't have a definition, and no definition, you're not defined, which means you don't have an existence. And so names should be taken very serious. And so, that was good what you were saying, with that. And then giving the meaning of your name, and being able to actually explain your name. Because if you ask other people with these Egyptian names or whatever, you say, what does it mean? They really can't explain it, outside of just the surface, that surface thing. So that's good. That's excellent. I was asked that when people first came to know me, what does Wujawa mean? What does Wujawa Ma'at mean? And so on. So I broke that down so many times in the past. But okay, so now let's get to this plate, to your question though. So I'm sharing it now. I don't know if let me make sure I lock it on my screen real quick. So this is plate 24. So now I just want to say this for people who are watching. Now, in Budge's Book of the Dead, especially the Book of the Dead of Annie, which is very, very popular, some of the plates, the numbers of the plates and versus the chapters get confused and confusing when trying to discuss it, because some people mix up the chapter number versus the plate number, which is the actual how they cut the papyrus, how they cut it. Those are the plates, but the chapters are numbered completely different. And so I just want to make sure that we're on in the same portion of the book. So so can you just verify for me that this is the one you're referring to? So like in Budge, I don't know which version of Budge's Book of the Dead you have, but what page, if you have it handy, what page which are you working with?
Yeah, let me find the page for you, because it'll be easier.
Because this plate, the reason why I asked that is because this plate is more so focused on it talks about deities, about Jehudi. So let's see where it cuts off at. Oh, let me get my cursor over here so I can move this thing around here. So it extends over here. So I just want everybody to see the whole thing. I'm moving it. But in order for me to show it big enough where you could read it, I had to bring it up a bit. So everybody can see that. So it starts off like here on the left. Now, by the way, just so everyone understands, because, you know, we deal with the language heavily over here. That's all we deal with, really. But this is called retrograde, columnar retrograde inscription, which means that you're always going to read into the glyphs as if you're facing them, but within the columns. But now when you have multiple columns, the column arrangement may be retrograde, which means it goes against the grain. And so this is an example. So the actual text, the glyphs are facing to the left. Facing to the right, which you want to read from right to left, but that's within the column. So as you're reading the column, you're going to read from right to left. But when you jump from column to column, normally people would go from the right to left as well. So you go from here to here to here to here. But retrograde, columnar retrograde means the columns start in the opposite direction. So this will be the first column. So, you know, Ya Jehudi, you see the word Jehudi there. So it starts off here, O Jehudi. And then we have Usir, we see Usir name there.
It's cut off a bit on your side. So if you just move it to the right a little bit.
Yeah, it's
okay,
this
all right, okay.
this
yeah,
picture
cool.
is it kind of cut off the column, so it's kind of hard to
Okay.
make this one out.
All right.
So I apologize for that, but we can see.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not reading out of that's the Faulkner, right? I'm not reading out of Faulkner's the large Book of the Dead. I'm reading out of the transliteration and translation, the small one, and it's page 148 at the bottom. It's the third. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the 7th, 8th, and 9th line on 148.
But is this it? If you look at the glyphs, is this where we are?
Yeah, I'm not real versed at reading the glyphs.
Okay.
All right, that's no problem. Okay, so yeah, see, and that's to see what Budge refers to as plate 24. So that is Budge's plate 24. So let's sync this with the actual image of plate 24. So this is a facsimile of the actual papyrus itself, and this is supposed to be plate 24, you know. And so if we find what you're referring to, it should be pretty easy. So let's try to sync a couple of things, and just for people who watch and see, this is the kind of stuff that's necessary to really dig in. And I'm slowing it down, you know, for that purpose. But just read the first line of what you had, like what you said earlier. If you read that first line, let me put on my
So on line 7, page 148, it says you want me to read it in English?
Yeah. Just I want to, yeah.
All right. It's judged is he by the ancestors of Ra. Judged is he by the ancestors of light. He is a shining being clothed in heaven among the mighty ones. But really, it's just judged is he by the ancestors of Ra. Judged is he by the ancestors of light. So they're telling us right here, it's the coup. It's his ancestors. But I'm wondering specifically, who are these ancestors?
Okay. Well, yeah, we would have to read a lot more.
It says for light, Sesep, S-E-S-E-P, Sesep.
Yeah, I'm saying we would have to read a lot more to know exactly what that's referring to. Because, but hold up, that's what I'm saying. I want to look for it here so that we can actually see the glyphs, because I don't have that particular page you reference.
Yeah.
So we could find the glyphs, because, you know, around here we deal straight with the Sesh. So I'm seeing here.
Judge.
This looks like where you are right here. So
I can really
let
see
me
it.
so hold up. Let me just make sure I'm not missing the chat or anything like that. Put it back on the chat. All right. So this is for everybody who's watching, right? And it may seem like we're taking a long time with this, but this is necessary. So I want everybody to understand this is the necessary work that needs to be done with stuff like this. So we're talking about plate 24. I pulled up plate 24, which is the actual facsimile of the papyrus itself. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to synchronize the line that we're discussing with the glyphs themselves. And so I found it here. So we have the word here is tepu. You see the word tepu here?
Yep.
This is the word for ancestors.
Yep.
And we have tepu a, which means, you know, the head of the arms, you know, in front of the arms. And that's an idiom for the word ancestors. And then we have tepu ra. And you see that? And that's what it's saying here. Then we have the word sep again. That's the word sep. I think you mentioned that.
Yeah.
And then we have
2F.
2F here. And then we have the word tepu again. Tepu a again. And then we have sahep ak. All right. So this is the you know, the line in question here. So I just want everybody to understand that. So now to answer your question though, as far as the ancestors of Ra, who they are specifically, until we would read more context surrounding this, I wouldn't be able to answer that question. Who is being talked about? Now we know
and that's why I like you, because you didn't try to make up an answer. So
no, we never, we don't do that around here.
I'm not trying to be funny with you. I'm just I appreciate it. If you get a chance in the future, maybe you could do a lesson or something, and because I'm really curious to find out who these ancestors are, and I haven't been able to. So
okay, but now what's interesting, so let me just reiterate, to get to the core, to get to the answer to that question, we would need to read a lot more text around it in the context. So I don't want to sound like, you know, we're going towards an answer. So I'm saying that, but in general, that's why I prep my answer even before I even pull this up and everything, is because not you, but I know there's an impression that people have that Ra has no ancestors or has no mother and father and things like that, or doesn't come from something, or whatever the case is. And that's why I said Nu is the ultimate reality, is Nun or Nu, comes from the word Nini, which is inert. And so this is this infinite, eternal, formless blah, for lack of a better word, that all things come out of, including the various different Netcheru. And so Ra comes out of that no matter what. And Ra has several different manifestation stories that are attached to him. And so one's through, you know, lotus plant, because of the behavior of lotus plant in the river, the Nile River, and so on. One coming out of the womb of Nut, is swallowed during the day, comes out reborn. Kepler manifests Ra through the front. People think it actually pushes Ra through the sky, but that's not the case. It's actually manifesting Ra, and so on and so forth. So you have different stories from which Ra comes about. So the specific ancestors being talked about, now we would have to dig further to get to the answer to that. So I just want to make that clear.
you know what I like, what you just said about Nun or Nini being the infinite blackness. I love how our ancestors always link it back to the woman, to the female, number one, and then linking it back to her womb.
Yeah, those are excellent. Those are used for analogous purposes as well, like water as well, because of the nature, observable nature of these things. The womb, what the womb does. The womb is an incubator. It's an unseen, like whatever's incubating in the womb, it cannot be seen until it's done, and then it comes forth. It manifests, it comes forth. And so, you know, that's used as an analogy. and then water, because the properties of water, it takes the shape of anything it's contained in. And so water has this very elusive property. And so the ancient, different cultures use water as an analogy for this infinite, eternal, formless substance that could become anything. And that's how water is. And so that, so you'll hear a lot about water, the woman's womb and stuff like that being an analogy for manifestation stories, creation stories, and stuff like that. Even in the Arab Muslim world, Rahman and Rahim, the word comes from words that tie back to the womb, being the merciful and grateful and all that kind of stuff. So it's different things. So yeah, that is interesting, very, very interesting. But
Hey,
that's the reason why.
I just want to end on this. I was thinking about this today about if you walk, let's say after we get off this and tomorrow you see a sister, right? And you walk up to her, and you said, "Man, you're beautiful like a cow." She would get offended today. Right?
Yeah.
But when you
A
look,
heifer.
but if I was back in Kemet and I referenced to Sister Tamika, you are the Het Haru. She would fall in love with me because I'm giving her the highest honor. So it makes me sad that we would be, everybody in this chat would be so far advanced by now if we could have just unfiltered all that crap that was put in us, put in our minds at birth,
Mm-hmm.
We first got to wait. Like when I talk to people, that's what I was saying earlier about these other just basically the conscious community. We have to get past, you still have people giggling when we're talking about Kemet and sexuality, and Kemet's all about sexuality. Yet people are still giggling. You know what I mean? They're laughing like kids. But like I said, if you call a woman a cow today, automatically in her brain, she thinks you're calling her fat. When you're giving her one of the highest honors you could give a woman in Kemet. So, anyways, brother, I appreciate you talking to me. I appreciate everybody on the chat. And I just got done working out, so I got to go shower and eat. But hopefully we could do this again.
Yeah. Listen, we subscribe to the channel, right, and click the notification because on our open discussions we pop up out of nowhere. So you gotta be subscribed to get the notification. But just so you know, we have scheduled shows that we do on Wednesdays and Fridays. Same time around 9 p.m. Around 9 p.m. So you're always welcome. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say before you leave, that was actually a really good question. I think it's a worthwhile research that you could take forward, on your own free time. That is really good. Something worth researching and, tell us what you come up with.
Okay. Thank you, sister. Tuwa.
All right. Excellent.
All right.
So that's excellent. So so people get to see the so that was good. So I don't want to keep harping on that, but that's a good question. But what I wanted to demonstrate and emphasize again is the approach, because a Kemetic text was mentioned and stuff, so we go straight to the primary. And then those of us who could read the glyphs and everything, we deal with the glyphs, we're actually able to find the sentence or whatever line or whatever in the glyphs and point it out. And that's what is on the screen still. We're at the beginning of that. But even reading ahead of that, we would probably have to read ahead of it. And man, let me get my cursor back over here. Reading ahead of it would be in this direction. So we would, read it out and see just get some more context clues to see, because it may reveal itself within the context of who these actual ancestors are. But that's not unusual. The word Seshep is a word for light, and it's also a word for dawn, the morning, the brilliance of light. We have the word hedge is the word for white, but it's also the word for brightness and light as well. We have Heru, which is a word for light as well, as opposed to Gereh, which is darkness. And so there's different words for light. And so words are chosen for specific reasons. And so Seshep is a word for light, but it may have a nuance that will give clue to what the answer is and stuff. We can actually see the word Hejet, I believe, over here. And I just happened to look up and look at it. But this is the word in question here where I have my hand. This is Shep. All right. And it's determined by the yeah.
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
But what I think, to me, one of the key words was approach.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, like, how you approach things is very important. I mean, because you said that, and then I've been getting reminded of it all day. Was there a reason why you used that word?
No, because no. Well, I mean, yes. um, it's a person's approach, because approach is a proximity word. It's how you come to something, and so how you come to it, you have to have a certain method.
You know,
And we emphasize Tep Hesed, which is the correct method. And how we approach things is very surgical and intentional. Like, we don't haphazardly or, carelessly just approach things, because it's like, you don't know if the stove is hot and you touch it, you burn yourself or whatever. You got to kind of approach it with caution and, be mindful. So that's the approach. So we approach all these things this way. Yeah,
indeed.
because if you don't see, Kemet is like a brewing ground for a lot of made up information. Somebody, like that line right there, somebody could take that line and just make up some stuff and say, "Oh yeah, Ra is ancestors of light and everything." See, those are the ancient ones who are made of light. These are light beings. See, I told you we are really light beings incarnated in human skin with flesh and blood and this and that. We're coated with melanin. We were originally green, but now we're black because of rust, because we breathe oxygen and we rust. Rust turns brown and our skin is brown. And you see how fast I could just make up something?
He approached us like this. He approached us like any other thing.
Yeah. No, but the brother's question was good. And yeah, that was excellent. That was excellent. Yeah, that was excellent. But I don't I don't want to rush it, because we could get into why that word light Seshep is associated with Ra and all that good stuff. But like I said, there's some prerequisites going on. Because what we didn't, let me see if I have it on screen. I don't know if my screen is still locked. I think it is. No, it's not locked on my screen. Whatever. But if you look at this, I'm just gonna point out a few words. These are just some words that stick out to me. All right. Obviously, you see the word Annie here. Well, not obvious, but just point out this to people. Here's the word Annie. We have the Osiris or the Wasir, the Sesh, which is the scribe Annie. So that's his name. This was the column that we were on, but it was something else. Like up here, this is the word Iabet, Iabetet, or Iabeti, which is the word for east. And we have to understand that above here we have Peret im Iabet. So this word, as people should be familiar with, is the same word as the title of this book, or it's the title of many sections of the book, Ra'u Niu Peret im Heru. So Peret is to coming forth, im Heru, coming forth as light, by light, in light, etc. But this one says Peret im Iabet, coming forth as or by way of or whatever, the east. And you got to understand that the sun rose on the left. The word Iabet is the word for east, but it's also the word for the left-hand side of the body. And so the sun rose on the left-hand side. of the east. So it comes forth on that side and sets in the Amenet Teat or Amenet Teat, which is the west or the right hand side. And so these are interesting things that, you know, we would have to understand and know in the context of, you know, Ra being mentioned, the ancestors of Ra, and it's where Ak is efficient or effective one. And remember, the place of the efficacious or efficacy, place of efficacy is the Akhet. And remember, I explained that before, where the when the sun would appear to rise, before it rises, before you see the body of the sun, the actual disk itself, the sky lights up prior to that. And so this body of the sun affects what we can see prior to us seeing the body itself. And so this place of efficacy, or the effective ones that can affect our what we can observe and see, but they themselves not being seen, is where you get this notion of ancestors being invisible or not seen, but yet they can affect that which is seen or the living. So the deceased or the dead can affect the living, and they're called effective ones, or Aku. And so we have a lot of Ak, and then people who are deceased are called Ak, or a proportion of their being is called Ak. You have the Ren, Sahu, Ib, Kat, Ka, Kaibit, Ba, and all of that. But one portion is called Ak, the Ak. And so it connects into, you know, all of that good stuff we would have to understand and discuss to really understand what's going on. The generic word for ancestors is Aku. And then you have those who are in front of the arm, Tepu A or Tep A, which is another word for ancestor. All right, so you know, that's a couple of things. Yeah. Anyway, what else stands out? MK, anything else anybody else on the panel can since you know we're dealing with some glyphs here. Here's the word Su.
Su her ret yabut tet. Yeah.
Okay. What's this down here? See that down there?
Maakiru.
Yep.
So ani Weser Sesh ani Maakiru. I think that phrase.
Yep. Wasir Sesh Ani Makeru. Annie who is true of voice or triumphant. And let's go on. Might as well keep it going. Oh, where we at? We were down here and we go up here.
You have him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the mech? Oh,
Make
Wait.
the screen big.
yeah, you can make it a little bigger though, because after that there's some small glyphs right there. I see mech, I see something, then I see Heket, and then I see, but you're gonna have to enlarge it a bit.
Okay.
Hit R and then Ra, Chen, and I don't know what I see over there. Ak, I don't know.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, where
Wow.
are we? Oh wait, I skipped. I was in a whole different column.
Do I make it bigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ak and E.
All right. See, this is the part. This is gonna be the boring part for some folks. All right, so that's bigger. Hopefully y'all can see that.
I can't participate. I'm trying to make the screen big, man.
Hold up.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. When you say make it big, let me make sure it's locked on my. Yeah, it should be. All right, I made it bigger.
No, it's on my side. I'm trying to figure this stuff out.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I know that's the same thing. So one thing, keep building in me, Kat, but I'm starting to notice like patterns,
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it's good to get to that point. Where are we?
Oh, I'm following you. I'm just moving this arrow around, just trying to keep up with.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we were reading the part where it was Im and Mech, but I don't know if we.
Okay.
So then you had R and then Ra, and then
Yeah.
Ra for the mouth, and this one because it's a logogram, and then you have 10, and then I think it's Ak for going in and out.
Where are you? Where are you? I'm
Okay, so just move to the left, to right there, right there. Oh yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking that's Ak.
To Ak-Ini.
Yeah, Ak and going in out or something like that.
Can we do something easy? The way I can get it, build my confidence. Come on, would y'all give me one? Easy one.
The next glyph after NE.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, the Obama glyph.
The Obama.
Yeah, point to the arrow.
The Obama glyph.
Well, her. I will say, y'all gotta give me something easy, man. Come on, man.
Now this should be easy. Here, or this one. All right, let's do this one.
Who
Who-
Yeah, the
I
next-
said her.
This one I'm pointing at. What's up with that one?
Come on, man. Give me- Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad.
Yeah, everybody break it up.
Yeah, I hear you now. I can.
So so let's
Okay.
start back here. So we have the word ak, ini. We got that right.
Two.
Ak, ini.
Two.
We agree on that.
Two.
We have hair. So I go, and then hair. And what's this? I don't know if I am King Soul is still there. Hold on, let me see. I am King Soul still around. Or it's late. It's probably
Yeah.
late.
Yeah, he's here.
3 monoliths.
Oh, I am King Soul is in here. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think he said some. You mentioned some good.
Oh, so I am King Soul. What is that? Tell us.
With
You-
the symbol is
There's a reason why I'm calling on you.
crown.
Because even if you may not be able to know exactly what this is, but you know, because you want to have a show on it.
Oh, Akhenaten?
Okay, not Unc and Aten, not Unc and Aten. But this is the word Aten.
Aten. Oh, Aten. Okay.
This is the word Aten. So I go, and then by way of or through or upon the Aten, or the disc. Aten means the disc, the actual disc of the sun, the body of the sun, the disc, sun disc itself. Then we have some more. We have some more here. We have Puret again. We have Puret ini.
I go out.
And then we have another through.
On through. Ihu.
Say it again.
Ihu.
Yep, exactly. And whoever this is a person or a deity. And we move this up a bit.
Medew NE.
Then we have Medew, exactly.
Yeah.
Medew NE.
And then what's that? That's easy.
Shemesu.
Exactly. Followers, those who follow. And then follow of what? Let's find out. We're gonna go right to the top. This is the determinative on that of what? Bam! There we go.
Netcher.
Natural.
Exactly. The followers of the Netcher.
Now give an easy one now, like for the beginners. See if I could get it.
All right. Let me pick
Come on,
something else.
man.
All right. Yeah. Let me pick something else. But let me just go down this one because I want to show people how the patterns, because you mentioned recognize patterns. So we have ak ini her aten peret hair, and then so on, right? So we go
I
to the
do
next
see
column.
that.
We go to the next column, we see the same thing. Medew again, but then we have aten again.
Do any aten.
So now it's Medew, the aten. So now I'm speaking with the aten. And then again, Medew again, I'm speaking with what? The double.
That Mehmet.
Yes, exactly. So it's gonna be a lot of deities mentioned. And so like I said, the brother asked a question. If we were to read more of the context, we would find out the names of these ancestors that he's asking about. Y'all, hopefully y'all catch on and get with it. All right.
Yep.
Because it's going to start mentioning these various different deities that are being engaged. Okay. So it mentions, the ancestors of Ra, ancestors of light. So these are different solar associated deities. But anyway, so maybe we can come back, double back on that. All right, let me find something. You were saying something easier. Let's see. All right, let's go in here. Let's see what you can identify, Donnie. Now these columns are numbered, so just tell me what number column you're in and what you can identify.
All right. Let's deal with 5. And I see the Sarah.
Yep.
I see the S, the W. So the Sue plant, right? Am I wrong or right?
No, you're right. You're right so far. Yep.
So it's Sue, Sarah, Sue, Sarah, Sue.
Boy, don't say Sarasun Seti though.
Come on, man. Don't put me in the pseudo lane. I'm trying, man. Sarah, Sue. I'll have to leave that one alone. And then move on to 4 if you want to stop me or whatever. But
No. Let's stay with 5 because you almost don't leave it hanging. So you got Sarah, right? So that's the top, Sarah. Okay. And then you come inside the Shenu and we have Ra. Then you said you recognize the folded cloth, which is the monoliteral S. Then you saw the Su, the sedge plant for Su, and the quail chick for the W, phonetically complementing it. So we have Su. And so, or the S, Su. So what is this? That would be the key, and you would pretty much get what name this is if you recognize the glyph I'm pointing at right now.
The Sioux, a king, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about the king's name. That's in here altogether.
Ooh.
So this glyph I'm pointing out right now, I'm just gonna give you a hint. It represents 2 consonants.
Sioux.
Nope. That's this one, the one below it right here.
Okay.
This one represents
that one.
2 consonants. And I'm gonna give you the first consonant. It's an M as in Mary. Now, wait. I'm gonna give you a hint because I want you to get it. I'm not gonna tell you, but you're gonna get it. Okay. So listen. In the glyphs, you have the biconsonantal glyphs, aka biliterals, right? They represent 2 consonants. Now, any glyph that is a multiliteral glyph, meaning anything other than the monoliterals, they usually are accompanied by phonetic complements, which will represent one of the consonants of the biliteral or triliteral, etc. So this glyph I'm pointing at is a biliteral, and like I said, they're usually accompanied by a monoliteral that's a phonetic complement. So what is this one that I'm pointing at now? This folded cloth.
That's the total cloth. That's the S.
Okay, S. Now this is a biliteral, and the S is a phonetic complement of it. So I gave you all the hints for you to answer. Now, what does that glyph represent? What are the two consonants?
You know, I'm super slow, but all I see is the S, the W, and the Su. Then
Wait. Okay. Let's work with the Su. So this is a sedge plant for Su, SW, right?
Yes,
And this quail chick by itself is what?
it's a W.
Exactly. So this W of the quail chick is a complement to the SW here. So this quail chick is the W of this. So Su, and then you have the phonetic complement. So the same thing is going on right here. We have whatever biliteral this is, it ends in an S. And
Man, I don't know that glyph.
okay, but I gave you the first consonant. I said M as in Mary. So if the first consonant in this glyph is M as in Mary, and it's complemented by the S, then this is the word.
MS? Masu?
There you go, Mesu. Exactly.
Bam!
So now say the whole name. Start off with the top. What is it? What is it?
Sarah?
No. Well, yeah, the top is Sarah, but now inside the Shinu, what is this one pointing at?
Ra, Masu, Wasu,
There it is. So
Ramasu.
that's Ramses. That's Ramasu is Ramses.
Damn.
See?
Yeah. You know?
So who is this right here? Who is this person in the middle?
That's Ramses.
Exactly.
Another Ramses.
There you go.
Yeah. And they go Impu, my partner. And to the left is Heru.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Iker.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Impu.
And all in a perspective pose.
Yeah. Aspective. Exactly. This is the pose of jubilation. We can see the word jubilation, which is Henu. Well, this one is Heni. Here we see it right here. We see determinative in the same position, Heni, which means to jubilate, jubilation, or to jubilate, etc. Yeah, so that's good. So you have Sarah and then Ramasu. So this is Ramses. Now, if we want to know which Ramses is, because we know there was several Ramesside kings, so it was Ramses the first, second, third, fourth, and all of that. We had to go to his throne name.
Yeah. Let's do the next one, because I know I got some of it.
Yeah. So
I know I got the.
Doing well, Donnie. Keep going, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Big Sean. That's my big brother, man. Love you, boy.
Nah, he's doing excellent. So, because I don't want to give too much because he's figuring it out. So figure something out in this Shinu.
Okay, so we got the Ra, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the MN. I know that's the MN. What appears to another N, and I know when they flip the ends, it turns into something else. I ain't got that master down yet, and then that line is throwing me off, but I need some help. But so it's Ra MN. Yeah, I get thrown off after that.
You say you got thrown off?
I'm saying Ra MN, right? And then I lose it after when I get to the lion. At least I think I do. So I need some help.
Okay, somebody help him out. Anybody? Because there's no compliments for me to help you out on this one.
There's no denying that I got the Ra, the R, the MN, another N,
Yep.
and then I lose it when it gets to that line.
Okay. So oh, there you go. Say it again. Who said that?
Bear.
Yep. So this particular Ramses, which is his family name, Ramesu, this particular one, the king, is you have the Ra correct and Min correct, and then this is Peti. So his name is Min Peti Ra. So this is King Min Peti Ra, who's Sarah Ramesu. So this is Min Peti Ra, and so this is not King Ramses the second, the third, or the fourth. This is the first Ramses. This is Ramses the first. Min Peti Ra is the first Ramesside king. So he's the first one. So this is he kicked it off. He kicked off the name for namesake, the Ramesside kings.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So this is not Ramses. So his name is Ramses, family name Ramses, but it's not the same as Ramses II. So Ramses II would have the same family name, but his throne name was Weser Ma'at Ra Setepin Ra or Setepni Ra. And this particular Ramses is Min Peti Ra. All right. So that was a good exercise.
Indeed. Too.
All right. So good. I'm glad you figured that out. So that's.
Have y'all did column one?
No, not yet.
You said column one? Okay, go ahead. Who's that? Sean, go ahead.
No. I wanted Donnie to do it. I think he can do this.
All right. There you go, Donnie. You got the floor.
Man, I gotta step up.
No, you did good.
Yeah. All right, so it looked like the X marks the spot one. I'm
Yeah.
pseudo as hell, y'all. Come on, man, work with me. But
No, but that's fun. That's not funny. That's an interesting way to understand that glyph too, because X marks a spot and a
Yeah.
A toponym.
a place, which is a toponym, a place name. Toponym is topos onym, which is a place name. And so
y'all gonna beat me up.
this is a place. But go ahead.
All right, so we got the damn. I don't know. I don't remember what the X is. I know it's a determinative, normally used as a determinative. We're gonna skip past that.
Okay, but you're right, though. That's right. You don't want to skip it too hard, too fast, but that's right. Go ahead.
Now I see the R. Then I see the double crown. And that's throwing me off because that's not what I'm used to. Then I see the double release that serves as a Y, and then the little floor pan, floor pan, floor plan, as a ooh man, yeah. Oh man, I
Well,
know it's not an H.
okay, but listen, let me just tell you, you're doing a good job. But what I would suggest and encourage you to do is to do it in the correct order, though. Like I know that, like I mean, okay, if you were doing the steps, right? We have 4 steps. First,
Okay.
first you identify the direction. That's step 1. Step 2, you identify all the glyphs. And so I know you're going through glyphs you recognize and everything. But even in that, it's still good to go in the order. So you would go from the top going downwards. So, either you recognize this, the cobra, whatever, and things like that. So, keep that in mind, even in the order of which you're trying to identify glyphs. So let me just ask you a question though. You see column 1, how it begins. Do you see any other column that begins the same way?
Yes.
Which one?
Well, if you look into the glyphs, it's all from
I got them numbered in the yellow circles. So just tell me the number.
well, your arrow is pointed at one, so I'm looking into one, and it's reading into right to left.
No, I'm asking. Okay, you see how column 1 begins? Like you see the glyphs? I'm saying what
Okay.
do you see another column that begins with the same set of glyphs that are alike?
Uh, 7 has the reed leaf. I mean, I don't know
Okay.
what to say.
No, that's good. So column 1 and column 7 are almost identical.
Mhm.
You see how you have the walking staff, the cobra,
Yeah, just the cover.
the reed leaf, the water ripple, same thing over here.
Patterns.
Now where I'm pointing at, I think you were saying that this looks like a crown. Is that what you were saying?
No, that don't look like no crown.
Oh, okay. So what okay.
8, number 8 got the crown.
Yeah, okay, yes, exactly. Column A has a crown. So what were you okay, what is this glyph here that I'm pointing to? The green arrow is pointing to.
It looked like an owl.
Okay, because it may be too small. That's why, but those are um three birds side by side. Those are three birds together side by side.
You've heard that word too. It's been said a couple of times.
It's an M to me. You know,
It's an M.
I
Well,
think so. Yeah.
okay. Well, yeah, see, that's the thing, because with freestyling, you don't have access to the book, but obviously you'll be able, this is knowable. You could find that in the glyph list. But this is the ba bird. And so this is three of them. And so this would be ba'u. So this column here is saying Jed Medew in, then ba'u P, and that's a place. So it's the words spoken by the souls as they translate the word ba or ba'u, plural, souls of this place P. And this is represented by Inpu.
Why not souls for P? Just
Right, souls for P. This is represented by the deity Inpu here, in this pose of jubilation. Over here, you have the same thing, column 7, Jed Medu in Ba'u, but this is now Nekhen, the place of Nekhen. And that's represented by the falcon-headed figure. So the falcon-headed figure represents a place called Nekhen. The canine-headed figure represents the place called P. And then the king being in the middle, who is Menpeti Ra, or AKA Ramesses.
Okay.
All right. So this whole scene is talking about the people, the souls, the people of this place are rejoicing. They're rejoicing for you have Har Aketi, which is their son. And then it goes into the king, the Osiris, Menpeti Ra, Sarah, Ramasu. Then we have Maheru. And then it goes on to talk about the people here.
To me, which is totally appropriate, and I thank y'all for the challenge and stuff. Even though I got an F, it's gonna propel me forward. So thank y'all for that.
Now you didn't get an F though. I wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah, no F, man. No F.
Now you did good. You did good. But I'm glad that because you figured these things out. And mind you, you don't have any books in front of you and stuff. So you actually jumping ahead. So that's definitely not an F. If you had a book and sign list, and you go through the steps that we always advocate, I'm sure you'd be able to get through this But I'm just pointing out that these figures, now mind you, this is from my slides as far as the presentation I did on Kemetic yoga, and I'm showing you the jubilation pose, how it really was done versus perspective artwork where you see the torso twisted, but in reality, it would never have been twisted. Kneeling on one knee with the hand to the solar plex and your arm up is a position of Henu or Heni, which is jubilation.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that since you talked about that, the Henny posture, and it's actually there on the glyph on column number 2.
Yeah,
you talked about it before.
Yeah, and that's the word Heni. So it's determinative of the actual pose itself, and that's what these figures are doing. All right, and so these people are celebrating or jubilation over their son, Haraket, which is their son. It says their son, Assassin, and then the name of the king, and then the unique one we have Wa. The unique one among them, and then we have another saying Jed Medew and Ba'u Nekin, and we have Irisin, and then Henu. It goes further, which I could probably stretch this over. Yeah, you can see more Henu. Here again, the word Henu. So you see this HN determinate, and you see the HN. This is Heni, this is Henu. All right, so let me move this back to where it was. All right, so anyway, man, we've been on for a minute. So let's check in on the chat. Let me take this off, freezing my screen, my boring screen, and get back to the chat. So we got people in the chat. So what's good? What's good with everybody in chat? What's going on? Any questions? Anything I missed? While we kind of wind it down. Yeah, and you know.
They're doing nothing. They're just probably laughing at me.
Nah, see, that was really impressive. Like, you have to remember, like, you freestyling, you know. So
Yeah.
that's very impressive.
Thank you.
And you
I'm
know,
trying.
and you know, just to be when I first clicked live, I'm gonna tell you what was on my mind though. When I click live, now you know this is the Sesh Monumental Netcher channel, so we focus on Kemet, we focus on the language, culture, all that good stuff. What actually on my mind though was the vaccines and the virus and stuff. Because man, today I heard some craziness. I was just gonna share, but now it's all late. It's 3 hours in, so maybe another time we could talk about some of that. But I always try to,
Sean's lane.
huh?
That's Sean's lane. He there.
Yeah.
Sean, you there?
Sean popped up. So, but I was gonna just share, you know, just some crazy stuff that I hear or the crazy logic. You know, it's crazy. It's really crazy. But you know, I wanted to bring it up, but I always try to tie everything that comes up into Kemet some form of fashion. But we're at the end now, and I'm not gonna start it off, but I'm gonna throw it out there that Kemet or the Kemeti culture, the people, that society took health very, very serious. A lot of indigenous cultures do, like a lot of cultures that are very, very simple and solid, take health, they look at health differently than we look at it today. And so like in Kemet, there's an example of how they looked at it in a wholesome way, a holistic way. You have the phrase that's very popular today, Unk, Uja, and Seneb, Unk Uja Seneb, or Unk Weja Seneb. And all of those combined, those three words and things, they're very similar. They have overlaps in their concepts, but they're put together in that phrase. Usually used and as far as attestations of how that's used is usually for the king. They'll say a person's name and then say Uncle Jasaneb or D&E Uncle Jasaneb. May he be given, you know, life, Unc for life, Weja or Uja, prosperity, Seneb, health. But if we examine those three and really, really look at it and how they are used together, we'll see that life itself or health itself is life. But today we kind of look at health as a part-time afterthought. You know, like we don't look at health as in our health is impacted by everything we do. We just think about health only when our health fails, and that's backwards. Like we don't think health until something goes wrong. Whereas other people, you know, the culture itself was rooted and it rears people up to kind of look at health on a lifestyle type of thing, whereas we look at it as part-time. You know, the moment we get sick, now we focus on health instead of realizing, you know, health, what we're calling health is our life. Like our life is dependent on health. Our prosperity is dependent on our health. All of that, you know, and that's being sound or whole. And by the way, because the brother came on and talked about the naming, my name, Wu Jiao, is a form of the word that people pronounce as Uja in that phrase, Unk Uja Sanet, prosperity. And so, you know, the way name, you know, some names are coded or written out is that it's functional in reverse. So like one leads to the other. So like my name, excuse me, Ujau Min Ib Edi Ma'at. If you look at the concepts of each part of my name, but in reverse, you'll see why and how my name is what it is. Something that leading up to prosperity or being sound. So anyway, but you know, talking about vaccines, and the virus and keeping health and whatnot, that serves as a good conversation to talk about that, number one, but also connected into how other cultures saw health as an entire lifestyle, not as like something over there, you know, over there, like my health over there, like, you know, it was everything. Everything's connected. So anyway, keep all that good stuff in mind. What you know, everything is a consequence of your health, even your thoughts. And people separate these things, and then it becomes, you know, it gets a little pseudo where people will separate everything: mental health, physiological health, stress, and they get into these remedies per one, and it's all separated. But some cultures put all that nicely tucked together. You know, so anyway, did I miss anything in the chat? Anybody been paying attention? Oh, somebody agreeing with you?
Yes, the yeah, crazy stuff over there. Dash agrees with the European. It's been translating Ramesses very well, and apparently, Sandoni now can be a Kemetic priest.
Oh man, okay.
You know, but I ain't even gonna speak, but you know, as you see, I got battle tested and I got F's, you know what I'm saying? But that propels me to go forward. That's the kind of spirit I got. I put my ego to the side and stuff like that. So to the pseudos, which I'm gonna call them, or the brothers that don't got the, you know what I'm saying, the fortitude to speak, come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
But listen, you got to give yourself some credit now. Don't, you know, you keep saying F's and you didn't get an F, man, because if that's an F, then man, we in trouble.
Some people are a Z though. Then
Right, that was good, because this is the thing, you know, you're freestyling and you're picking out glyphs you know and stuff like that. So that's part of it. It's not an F at all, man. F is like you staring at it and you just don't know anything for anything, and then ego rears up and you just start making some stuff up. Like I literally had a guy do that years ago. Google Hangout on a similar picture, not the exact same picture, but a similar picture. This brother completely made up. Like he actually challenged me saying I don't know how to read the glyphs, or you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. So he came on a Google Hangout. This is why Google Hangout. So you 2 years ago. Google Hangout. He came on, and I just asked him in front of everybody that's on the Hangout. It was like, because back then Google Hangout you could hold 10 people. It was 10 of us on there. He was one, and I said, "Listen, if you say I got it wrong, then you translate that for us." And boy, man, he was the last knock of the rest of the Hangout.
Oh man.
Made up some stuff, and then like 2 weeks later, he come back and try to save face and say, "Oh, he was just playing. I meant to do that." I'm like, "Nah, you just got caught up out there, you know." But I'm saying it to say that nah, you did way better than a lot of people would do.
At the same time, I know you're trying to go, but I wanted to say thank you, and thank you to Emicat and all y'all from the Sesh crew. Thank y'all, man, for real.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, this is the tip of the iceberg, because there's a lot of iceberg below the water level than it is above. So I'm trying to get to that below sea level. I mean, that underwater stuff, that under stuff. Let's get under the hood and understand these things. So Sosa, I don't know if Sosa's still here. Sosa probably fell asleep, but I'm trying to get into the psychological aspect of stuff, where we get into the inner workings of the mind. Yeah, we go to the ether realm and start talking about the ancestors seeing light, and we can start staring at the sun and saying some magical words of power and get our powers back, so we can become gods of the earth and build pyramids with our bare.
Okay, so I got one question.
Hold on. Let me say officially I was playing. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so deal with me a little bit, because I don't know the name of that movie, but did you see that? It was that one movie where they was trying to describe how, and don't act like you don't hear me, but the one movie where they was like, this is how they did the pyramids and stuff. It's like something 2K. Did you see that? You had to see it if you're in the chemist and stuff like that. Did you? Come on, man. Did you see it?
I saw quite a few. I probably did, because I try to keep
Come
up.
on, man. You know what I'm talking about.
I try to keep
If
up with.
if you can't comment on it, just say I can't comment on it, and then But it was like something K, and then they try to describe like how the commit to you, how they did it, and stuff like that.
Well, give me an example. Like what was the main thing they saying how they did it?
Well, they was like
They say ramps and stuff, or
yeah, they did the ramps, and then like the white boy, excuse me, uh, the white man, he tried to demonstrate how it was possible for him to go across the seas, you know what I'm saying, in a raggedy little boat and stuff like it. He was trying to demonstrate it, and he made it look like it was impossible.
oh, I think I know that one too. I think that's a different one. Now there's some good hypotheses though
No,
about.
but this is what I don't want to do. Like, if you saw the movie, then like, if you just say, "Hey, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't comment on it," but don't make me sit up here and look like a fool.
No. I think I
You
know,
know,
but no. What I'm saying is that I've seen many.
it's called 2K something about Egypt, 2K whatever. But
Okay,
I got it.
but I'm saying when you mentioned the boat and sailing across that, I
That was part of it.
okay, I remember a documentary where it was talking about the boatmanship, like the selling of the Egyptian boats and how durable they were and how far they could reach and stuff like that. And I know that there was attempts to build one to spec and then try to sail across, the Atlantic or big large bodies
It
of
was,
water.
it was two white boys. There was twins.
Yeah, now you throwing me.
Wrong or right? Wrong or right?
I don't remember twins.
Oh, come on, man. But anyway, all right. But anyway,
Yeah, I don't remember twins.
I'm just trying to anchor this stuff down so that way I don't look crazy about the shit I'm talking about. But
Nah, but you wouldn't look crazy. I mean, you just talking about something that you seen, a documentary, or whatever. But I've seen many. I've seen from ancient aliens all the way to very good documentaries. Like,
okay, so let's just say I think and I know you know. I just don't think you want to because of your status or whatever.
No,
Uh,
really.
well, I'm gonna play it like that. But is this pseudo?
Is what pseudo? The boat stuff?
Yeah, all that.
Well, I wouldn't say pseudo. It's people are advancing their hypotheses on how the logistics worked, how basically how the engineering and architecture and how the pyramids were built, and how boats were done and stuff like that. So I've seen it where people proposed ramps, but then that idea became untenable because of the amount of work to build a ramp just to build a layer of the pyramids. It doesn't really make sense. To the point where another ramp hypothesis came, not a straight on ramp, but a ramp that actually went in the same direction as the pyramid. So as they put layers of the pyramid on, they dismantled the ramp. So they built the ramp as a need basis and stuff. Then I even seen, even a more recent hypotheses about ancient concrete, where the stone wasn't actually quarried and stuff dug up like how people think. It was actually, they figured out a way to actually make soft stone out of, for lack of a better word, concrete, and do things that way. And that's interesting. That's an interesting actual documentary, really, because they actually show it and reproduce that it could be done. But whether the ancient Egyptians used that technique and stuff, that's still a hypothesis. But I'm just saying, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Now, textually, they found texts that hint towards the pyramid builders and their lifestyle during that period of time and stuff, which is very interesting. Now that we have that, I think that was goes far back as 2016 or so. Which is very interesting. It doesn't get into details, but it's a good thing to know about and read about, because it definitely rules out a lot of the fantasy hypotheses or claims people make. Aliens built.
That's all I was asking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's interesting. But I particularly what you talking about, I don't remember twins, but I've seen a few, like a lot over the years. Man, I've seen. I try to keep up with them all. Some of them, you just immediately like, oh man, they're out of their mind.
Yeah, but that's what I don't like. But I know you, because of your status, you can't narrow it down. But for me, I don't like the word play. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let it go because I know that you know what I'm saying, just the way, you know what I'm saying,
Nah,
you
see,
really
if you
can't
just
commit to shit.
nah, see, like over here, if you just like if you have it, if you have the video and send it over and we can see it and watch it. I mean, nobody holds back over here. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Name the video.
If it's pseudo, it's pseudo. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Some things might be wrong without being pseudo. It's just whatever.
I'm not trying to do. I'm trying to get rid of the pseudo. So don't think I'm in the pseudo lane. I'm just saying, like I'm saying, I saw this and it,
No,
like I don't like playing games. Like y'all don't see the same thing I see.
no.
You know?
Listen, man, I see pseudo everywhere. I got a meme that I put up every now and then. Say pseudoism is at an all-time high, and I see pseudoism everywhere. It's a little boy under the blanket. So no, I don't deal with pseudo stuff. It's not a comfortable thing. Pseudo. I mean, like Emike said, there's a difference between somebody being incorrect and wrong versus pseudo, like what we now know, popularly use as pseudo. Because some people just do not get it, don't have a clue, but they swear up and down. They got so much to say, but they're uninformed, not properly researched, but yet they have so much to say. Yap, 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 yap. Because I'm gonna tell you, I say this all the time. This social media stuff that we've gotten used to that become the norm, there's a lot of room for programming. Like people don't think programming is real, and it may not be a bad thing or whatever, as you know, whatever, like mind control, but marketing and advertisement is the front facing version of psychology. Like psychological experts are at the root of marketing and advertising. You have to understand psychology to get somebody to.
Okay, that's something else. But and I know you could get into all of that, but I've been rocking with y'all for years now, so I know I get it. You
Yeah,
know,
but
that's not what I'm trying to argue. I'm saying, did you see what I saw?
no, that's what I'm saying. I won't know unless you share it specifically, because I've seen so much that I do not remember something specific that you're mentioning, especially when you said twins. That threw me off because I don't remember seeing twins in
I don't remember what the name is, but
any of the
I'll,
videos.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, if you find it, then I mean,
Yeah, find it, and then I could lock in on it. But I was saying in general, pseudo is not a welcome thing. We are fighting against pseudoism, and that's all I'm saying. I'm saying that any
Agreed,
pseudo,
too.
we are trying to eliminate
Disprove.
pseudoism. But I was trying to differentiate pseudoism from people being wrong and correct, making a mistake and stuff like that. There's a
Mhm.
difference. There's people who are actually pseudo, like they push that, like they think they take all the shortcuts and microwave everything, but they have so much to say. People who barely study Egypt, they only study Egypt to argue, but yet they prop themselves up as something more than what they really are, which is just an enthusiastic person who wants to know just enough about Egypt just to argue against it or to make a point for something else that they really into. And a lot of people do that.
I'm not trying to do that. Y'all know that.
No. Yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely not talking about you at all. I'm just saying people in general. So I'm just separating pseudo from being incorrect. So there's documentaries that put forth or advance different hypotheses, and that's cool. These are things that we should be looking into. And like I said, I gave a couple where you got people, as far as the pyramids go, people who believe the pyramids were built by ramps and levees and stuff. People who built have this inside out tunnel version of the pyramids being built. You have people who advance in the concrete hypothesis, and all those kinds of things. Some people even say aliens did it. Some people say a prior civilization did it, and the Egyptians didn't do it at all, and they just inherited it. So you got a lot of those things.
So let's just say if do you believe that they sailed across to the Americas?
No.
Okay, that's one.
There's no evidence of that.
Okay, then I'll leave it alone.
There's no evidence of that. The Egyptians have no evidence, no records of them sailing to Americas. None.
And that's that simple.
Yeah. There's none. So I don't even want to hear that. I'll hear it once evidence. Demonstration beats conversation. So somebody needs to demonstrate it first and then have a conversation. Not the other way around. I don't want anybody to talk about that until they be able to show something. As meticulous and documentary that the Egyptians were, they didn't document coming to the Americas. And people try to say the West, the Ament or Amenet or Amentit is America. And I'm like, man, they're really shot. They don't even understand Egyptian geography, how the Western desert and mountains and stuff, which is on the right hand side, by the way, like I said, and their borders and stuff. That's crazy. No records.
I gotta look at it again, but
They didn't sail to the Americas.
thank you, God, for bringing clarity. You know.
Oh, nah, if that's what you're asking. I could tell you right now, no. What's the word for America? in Egyptian language?
I know. I know a word.
What's the word for Africa? Like what do they call the entire continent of Africa? People can't even tell me that.
Everything is in Greek, you know.
Nah, some people make up something to say Afu,
Africa, you know.
Afu Raka, and Afu Rakayat. Afu Rayat Kayat, Afu Raka. Knowing good and well they didn't name the whole continent. They didn't have a continental consciousness in those times. Just like they didn't have a concept, no consciousness of race, of the social construct of race. Did not exist. They had a human taxa, which means they categorize human populations, but not on the basis of today's notions of race at all. Just like they didn't have notions of continents like we have today. Continents exist, but they didn't have, in their consciousness, they didn't have names for continents and this continental thing. The world to the ancient Egyptians was Egypt. Yep, they had borders. They knew, obviously knew other places exist, but their world was Egypt. That river was its lifeblood. They had natural borders, the Mediterranean Sea in the north, the cataracts in the south. They had the desert and the hills on the left and right, the east and west. That's it. Their concept of worldview was based on the human anatomy. They faced the south. The head was in the south. The feet was in the north. Mehu, which is submerged, or the feet below, that's in the north. The head, Resi, even Kenti, the nose, the forehead, all that's in the south. The Iabet, the left hand, is on the left, and the Amen or Amenet, the right hand, is on the right. Just that simple. The center, the heart, the Ib, the heart, Chenu, which is the word for interior, that's where Kemet was, where the population lived along the Nile. That's simple. And go to the Americas and talk about Americas. Now what's been scholarly debated for quite a while is the exact location of what people say is Punt or Punwet, Punt.
Yeah. And that was one of the questions you asked. He was like, when you started out, he was like, what is Punt? You know, that was one of the questions you posed to us. I still don't have an answer, but I've been thinking about it. And so you just giving me a reminder, but if you're going to elaborate, then elaborate. You know
Oh no, well,
I remember you. All I'm saying is you've been speaking about this.
yeah, I mentioned Punt because that's a place that is that the exact location people are still in a scholarly disciplines and stuff, they're still arguing about that. They're still hashing that out. Some people say, so that would be a good research project. Really, 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 step one would be to do a literature review, collect all of the scholarly literature about it to see where scholars are with it right now, because so many things have been argued over time, and new evidence have come up and stuff. Animals that are known to be brought back from this place in the Hatshepsut or Ma'akaraz expeditions and stuff. The species of animals may be identified more clearly and better now, and we know where their habitat was and stuff like that. So there's more information to sift through right now. That would be a good project to kind of be to do a survey of the literature, and then try to advance the knowledge.
Do you have actual? Not that it matters, but because we African centered first. But do you have actual? It's really irrelevant. Well, let me just ask you: do you have Egyptologists on your team, or do you have? I'm sure you have access to them, but you know. like
Oh,
I do, but
on my team. Well, when you say my team,
that's right. It's kind of crazy. I didn't word it right, and I don't know how to, but I'm just saying I have uh, Egyptologists that I could talk to and stuff, and I can ask questions. I'm pretty sure you have the same thing too.
yeah, I mean, I have access to linguists, Egyptologists. Yeah,
You know, probably yeah. So
yeah. I mean, and students. I have access to professors who teach the language, all that stuff, and I've been there, done that. I've rubbed shoulders, elbows, lock arms with students in it for different reasons. They're professors, authors of these books that people read too. So yeah, on African centered side and we'll consider it Afrocentric or African centered and non African centered, different schools.
then how is it important for that to happen for you to bridge those gaps for the people who are in the chat who haven't made those connections? Yeah, that would be a question.
Well, I always advocate
For the chat,
yeah, I always advocate gathering all the materials you can. Don't discriminate, especially on the silly notion of racial discrimination when it comes to information. Because because if a person when we do stuff like that, we don't trust our ability to discern. And we don't discern based on skin color. We discern based on the merit of arguments and the evidence that can be provided.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter how fat a person is, skinny, what gender they are, what color their skin, or how they socially classed. It's a matter of whether they can demonstrate what it is that they're claiming or not. Can they show logic flow? Or science is a domain of evidence, math is a domain of logic. If you marry science and math and you can present some things under those two domains, then we're good. We want to be able to walk with it. And so I'm saying that to say that I advocate people collecting as much information as they possibly can, and gaining the confidence by actually doing the work. Because here's the thing, and I give this example all the time. If you know nothing from nothing, and you totally have to defer to experts for whatever it is that you're looking into, and you find two experts,
like me, how I did it today.
right? But now check this out. If you find two experts and you ask them a question, and expert one gives a different answer than expert two, the fact that you don't know anything from anything, you're back at square one because you don't know which expert is correct. And so what that will force you to do is to take a different approach and to start putting in the work yourself to discern which of the experts are correct or both of them may be wrong. And that's the inspiration. That's where the fire comes up under you to put in the work. And so it doesn't matter. So it's like, because experts can be wrong. Like I know a lot of experts. I know on some issues I can name some people.
Hold on, y'all. Just slow it down for a little bit and let that resonate, because that was so profound, and a lot of people need to get that. But yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way to go. Because like, for example, I'll use me as an example. I know nothing of auto mechanics, like about cars, except for changing brakes, topping off some fluids, and that's it. But anything beyond that, like, man, I'm like, man, I don't know what's what. So I have to totally rely on the mechanic if something goes wrong, changing the flat, I know all that stuff, but engine work and all that, man, I'm at a loss. So if I go to one mechanic and he says one thing, and then I want to get a second opinion, I go to another mechanic, he says something different. Guess what? I have to get to work and work myself to a position where I can discern. But like, wait a minute, is this guy telling me this trying to get some money, more money, or what? Or what? You know what I'm saying? So That's the same thing with information and deferring.
You have to defer.
Right. You have to
Come
defer
on,
until
come
you
on,
put in the work and
come on.
be able to discern. And so we want to be in a position to discern at all.
Right.
So deferring is a temporary state. We don't want to defer to all the time.
Come on.
We just don't want to do that. Now, in a given lifetime, obviously we're going to defer all the time because we don't know everything and we're not experts in every area. But it's always good to know a little bit about a lot, you know. And you have that in people's families. Like somebody in everybody's family, there's always somebody a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And they know a little bit about everything. They could tell you, but oh man, what you got, a sore arm? Try this right here. They got something for everything.
Especially growing up in DC.
Yeah, I know. My family, boy, it's people that know everything. All family members, you straight. You got a whole university around you. But I'm just saying, so that thing that as far as information. So
No,
pseudo,
indeed.
because
Indeed.
here's interesting. There's a lot of our own folks that are pseudos all outdoors, and don't even know it. They use pseudo information, hating Europeans, but getting their concepts from Europeans, not knowing that they're getting concepts from Europeans, and then advocating and promoting that stuff. So that's crazy.
If I could have my way, I would probably slow it down and then look at, like, now we're in the age, like, it's no, like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna not take information from a European. You know what I'm saying? If he's coming, or he or she, whatever. If it's coming, like today, boom, talking about the Nisu, and then the honorific transposition, how it could be spelled, and this is what it's used for, or whatever. Like, the source didn't matter to me. It mattered if the source was correct. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it took. Oh man, I wonder, will the conscious community, see, it didn't matter, man. You know what I'm saying? Just deal with the source.
Yeah. And that's it. It's about the high level part of it is good character. Good character will carry a long way in all areas of life. And then proper method for whatever it is you're doing. And this is for everything and everybody. Proper methodology. Because here's the thing. You heard of the order of operations in mathematics, right? Called abbreviated PEMDAS. You ever hear about it that way? Because some people learn it.
No, good brother, I'm slow. I never heard about that.
Okay,
but
well,
I'm willing to.
Okay, well, just real quick, because man, it's 1:30, almost 1:30. So PEMDAS is the order of operations. The PEMDAS is abbreviation for the orders of operations. So parentheses, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, etc. PEMDAS. So there's a certain way when you're given a mathematical equation or something to solve, you have to solve it in a certain order to come away with the correct answer. So things that are in parentheses have to be done first, and so on and so forth. But if you don't know that, and you can still know how to do addition, subtraction, division, and stuff like that, and multiplication. But if you don't know the order in which they're supposed to be done, you can still get the wrong answer. So although you know how to do something correctly individually, but when they're laid out together, there's an order and structure to do it. That's method. And so the correct or best method is it will produce the right outcome.
Come on.
So there's a lot of people who may know how to do bits and pieces of something, but they don't have the correct method to connect the dots and put it in order to come up with the reality or the correct answer. And so we have to be mindful of all that. So that's, I'm saying, high level, good character, and always looking out for the correct method in everything that we do. And that's it. This is no different. You know, none of this stuff is any different. And so that's what we do around here. Like I opened up with, perfect. Nobody's perfect, but people don't know why that's a saying. And I kind of gave a quick answer for that. It is very simple, that the word perfect means complete, and nobody living is complete. Therefore, there's no such thing as a perfect human who is alive. You're only perfect when you die, because now your life is complete. You are complete. So you are perfect, because perfect and complete are some synonyms. That's what it means to be complete. And so during a person's lifetime, you're constantly striving for perfection, but you don't reach it until you reach that western gate of no return. You're not returning. You reach that western gate and pass the pylon, and you enter the realm of the Westerners, and that's it. You become perfect or deceased, and that's it. So we're always learning from the cradle to the grave. That's what they say as well, from the cradle to the grave. Why? Because we're constantly trying to perfect ourselves, and when we're born an animal who is then domesticated into a human, and then is advanced as a divine being, divinity, deity. So those are 3 stages of life: animal, human, God. Animal, human, God. And people may not like the way that sounds, but all babies are animals. I mean, we all are animals. I mean, in a technical sense, in a human taxonomy, we're all animals, because we are animated. We move on our own volition. So biologically, we are animals. We're in the animal kingdom. We're not in the plant kingdom. But I'm saying, even in the sense of being raw and completely ignorant as babies, we have to be domesticated. You know, we call it parenting. We call it, home training, parenting, education. All these are domesticating tools to domesticate the animal. And then by the time we reach the age of 21 to 25, when our frontal lobe is fully developed, now we can control the animal within. And that's part of the brain where the what do you call it, rational reason, all that kind of stuff is fully developed. It's not until you're 21 to 25. So these are all stages, and even evolutionary stages. We have a primitive part of our brain, a mammalian one, or and then a more divine. You could break that down into 3 sections. One is more responsible for what do you call it, reflex, instinct. The other one is dealing with communal belonging, and the other one is making decisions, ration logic, all that good stuff. Anyway, man, it's getting late. I can feel myself. I'm winding down. So since I enjoyed everybody coming on the panel, who are on the panel now, probably sleep. I bet you if I start doing a roll call, oh shoot, people vanished. Not even sleep. Well, Mika, I don't even know if you sleep. Do you sleep? Well, Mika probably get 20 minutes of sleep and she is good. She'll bounce right back up. Cat nap. Mika, we're gonna give you a nickname. Catwoman, boy, something like that.
Just stay busy.
I wouldn't be surprised, boy. She started putting up a picture in a cat suit or something. Cat nap. She probably dozed off right now because normally she would answer right back. But anyway, so I'm gonna say peace, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in, hanging out. I know it's late. It's an off day. It's Tuesday, now Wednesday. And so we're gonna do this. We're gonna have open discussions. Bring your topics, make topic suggestions. I know I am so he made a suggestion about Akhenaten. And that's a real good one. So, I mean, we got to have a series for that because Akhenaten is known as the heretic king and all that stuff, who went to battle with the priesthood, moved the capital of Egypt to Amarna, and did some things that seemed to be off the cuff. And for that, he's you know, controversial. And so there's a lot to talk about. You know, we don't really know where to begin. But beginning to really get a good begin when he was Amenhotep IV, and how that transition happened and why and stuff like that. So we gotta get into that. Pull out some notes. So that was suggested, and then it's always suggested based on running topics that people hear on social media, whatever's coming up. But like I said, I want to wait. I want to talk about ancestral veneration. What was the other one? It was 3. I always name 3. It's so late I can't even think about them right now. Okay, but I'm gonna say Shem Hotep to everyone. Appreciate everybody tuned in and everybody on the panel. Everybody's always welcome. The brother came in. It was new, but he was saying some things that's a reflection of what we advocate. So that was good. But all right, I'm gonna say Shem Hotep and see y'all next time.